Data science can be found everywhere, shaking up almost every aspect of our daily lives. But most people really hadn't heard of it until about 10 years ago. It's one of the fastest growing fields today, so there's a ton of opportunities for everyone to be involved. Anyways, what is data science? In a nutshell, data science combines data collection from sources like social media and satellite images, faster and cheaper computer systems, foundational math and statistics, and data visualization. Together, these things give us helpful information for making decisions and tools to make our world a better place. Now, imagine you're relaxing at home and you've just finished rewatching the series finale of your favorite show. Whatever will you watch now that it's over? The fact that your streaming service keeps suggesting teen dramas isn't a coincidence. As you can probably imagine, data science can be used to solve other bigger real-world problems. It's a field that requires constant collaboration amongst people with a variety of backgrounds and expertise. Diversity and teamwork are essential, particularly when data is used to help tackle big challenges like healthcare or food or energy supplies. Having a broad set of perspectives helps us avoid bias and other unintended consequences. For example, if a hospital doctor wanted to understand the condition of a patient and the associated risks better, they could analyze data from other patients with related symptoms. In collaboration with medical experts and software engineers, a data scientist can write the algorithms and software to make this analysis fast and more accurate for very large databases, thus improving diagnoses and treatments. So what does this have to do with you? Well, no matter what passions you develop, chances are that you'll be working with data, since it's nearly everywhere and in almost every field. We'll let the data scientists themselves show you a typical day in their life at work.
Growing up, I always thought that I would work at a big company as a computer engineer, as a software engineer. But after graduating from college, I realized I could use my technical skills, my data analysis skills to really serve my country and to serve the community around me. I've gotten to work at a lot of cool places as a result, including at the FBI and at the White House.
I lead a team of data scientists and user researchers to better inform how we make the product much more fun and connections much more meaningful for users throughout Spotify for both music and podcast.
I am a research software engineer building machine learning solutions for wildlife conservation, so basically helping wildlife experts comb through these massive piles of data that they've collected on whatever kind of wildlife they study.
I'm a PhD student at Stanford studying computational and mathematical engineering, and my research is on using satellite images and machine learning to map our agricultural systems.
Let's get this day in the life started. I am about to get on a train to go into the city in Boston from Somerville and head into the office. See you there.
So what does this look like, this machine learning for wildlife conservation? Researchers who are studying perhaps sharks, they might have a lot of really amazing video footage that looks like this. Sharks swimming everywhere, really exciting, a lot to look at, a lot of knowledge to gain from this type of video. But a lot of the footage that they collect also looks like this. That footage is a lot more boring to have to sift through to get to the really exciting stuff. So machine learning can automate this process. We can comb through all that data with a computer program and really just allow the researchers to focus on these important snapshots from this video. This can save the researchers a lot of time, and it can allow them to get to the parts of their work that will lead to action and protecting more animals.
Welcome to where all the magic happens, my office. You see my standing desk and a phone because I spend a lot of time talking on the phone. I also want to show you my bookshelf back here. You'll see a little statue that's from Ghana, where my parents are from. It's really important to me to have things in my office that remind me of who I am in all of its glory. And so that just keeps me connected to my family.
Doing research is basically thinking really hard about a problem that no one solved before. So you spend a lot of time trying things that don't work until something finally does work. So a lot of my days look like this. Just kidding. That is how people code in Hollywood, not in real life. My schedule depends a lot on the day, but most days are a mix of working at my desk and meeting with my coworkers in the lab.
Let's see our David Bowie representation right there. I hope you can hear me. I know it's a little bit quiet, but here's some things that I'm working on today around learning some new visualization tools using notebooks, pandas, and Seaborn, trying to find some more interesting ways of showing the data that I'm working on right now.
So I use Microsoft PowerPoint a lot to put my information in interesting charts and pictures to relay the findings to other people. I have to give a talk today about using data with the government and communities to really improve communities. So I'm sitting in a stairwell reviewing my notes for the presentation.
Partnership and collaboration, bringing together people with knowledge of the data structure and information contained within.
I got to go to Bell Harbor Marina, which is down on the Seattle waterfront, and tour this research vessel called the RV Rachel Carson, as well as this submersive vehicle, literally a tiny submarine for 5 people called the Cyclops. The idea of getting to go explore underwater in something like that is really exciting.
Every year, the lab also goes to conferences together, which is a great way to meet people, see what other researchers are working on, and tell everyone else about our work. And this year, all of that debugging that I showed you earlier paid off, and I got to present on my research using satellite images and crowdsourced data to map crops in India.
It's been a busy day. It's time to head home now. I had a great conversation with designers thinking about how we think about metrics of the user experiences so that we can better understand how we can improve them, sort of connect with really smart, thoughtful people who are thinking about our users and having to think about what kind of data and metrics we can create off of that.
As you can see, one of the more stressful things about being a PhD student is that you can take your work home with you all the time. But I think being able to create maps like this, which is showing where people are growing their crops in India, and no one's ever done that before, makes all of it worthwhile.
Data science skills are going to impact your work in amazing ways because you can make data work for you. Data science is going to continue to grow and impact the world around us. Whether it's improving hospital outcomes, conducting wildlife conservation or food security research, analyzing poll results, or generating personalized music recommendations, data science is all around you. It is key to understanding the present and creating our future.
Hey everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are connecting from. It's so wonderful to be here again, and this time not just here in Lagos, but all across the globe. You know, we had planned this year's event to be fully hands-on, following the outcome of last year's event, where we had some schools reaching out to us that they needed some secondary school sessions and inclusion in this session. And then we thought to have the girls session as well, but all hands on. However, the pandemic has confined us to be watching it at the convenience of our homes, and the girls session and the hands-on couldn't happen. But against all odds, we've had over about 400 participants in today's conference, and then we are so excited to have all of you. Just as a matter of reminder, we want to remind you that data science is a unique field. It's also a 21st century skill. that is and will remain sought after globally by all sectors and spheres of life, both great and small. And that's to say that data is life and life is data, because there's no sector you get to that you don't have to speak data. How many cups of water have you taken this morning? That's data. How many steps did you take this morning? That's data. What time are you connecting to this conference? That's data. So virtually everything we do in this world is centered around data. So we want to also let us understand that Women in Data Science Conference is a movement, and it aims to inspire, to educate, and to support all gender in this ecosystem.
Data science and any data-inspired and data-driven science is so critical right now. More and more decisions are made based on data. The amount of data that we gather every day and the insights that the data can provide us is just growing exponentially, and that is no exaggeration.
The market for data science and related areas like AI is booming.
It is so important to have women in artificial intelligence, in the area of data science, and also in leadership roles. It's being able to use data to solve issues and understand bigger problems. It's critical, and we need women in these roles. Every individual brings their own perspective, and so we need to make sure the entire workforce is represented.
And the good news is there's so many jobs and many different ways to combine their passion area and their skills in data science and get involved.
I would like you to say, what are the problems in the world that absolutely have to be changed? And can you individually, given all the amazing background that you've had so far and all the education that you've got so far, what are the unique things that you can do to change the world towards that mission? And then think of the technology.
If that is going to become completely data-driven over time, then you can't miss that opportunity. You've got to join in and have your say.
If you're not looking at the data from all sorts of different angles, then you could introduce a lot of bias. So it's really, really important that we have around the table all genders, all races, all backgrounds.
We can't ignore social and structural problems. We can't just go in a corner and write some code and read math and then that's the solution, right? Can't do that. So we have to think about who is being affected by these algorithms.
Welcome to WIN! When we first started this conference, we never would have imagined that we'd be sitting here today with over 200 regional events. We've got over 500 WIZ ambassadors worldwide. Many of them are women, but we've also got a lot of men. And these are people who are just passionate about inspiring others within their community. We're in over 60 countries, and year after year, we're blown away.
Let's make this next decade the Women in the Data Science decade.
What I love about it is that growth is viral. That people will attend one event in one city and then they'll want to bring it to their cohort or colleagues the next year.
This type of industry can be done everywhere, so it should be accessible to everybody. And this is one of the reasons why I love that we are global with WIZ.
So we wanted to create opportunities for women to inspire, educate, and support women at many different times throughout the year. And one way that we decided we could do that was through a data-thon every year, which is a predictive analytics challenge using real-world data. We have over 900 teams from 85 countries, and that's in every continent except Antarctica.
When we started WIZ in 2015, we had no idea this was going to be a global movement with tons of international events and a data-thon and a podcast show and now outreach to middle school and high school. It's just been such a ride.
Our latest endeavor is to work on some materials that we can hand off to teachers in schools around the world.
This has provided a platform for literally hundreds of women, if not thousands of women, to have an opportunity to be heard.
But the truth is, these are really simple experiments, but they had profound impact because they empowered someone else to be able to do their job better or to be able to take that message.
5 years ago, when we were sitting around a coffee table thinking about what WIDS could be, I never in my wildest dreams thought it would grow so far and so wide around the world in just 5 years. What I'm most excited about is the next 5 years, because I think this is really just the start.
Wow, so thank you so very much for sharing in that opening video. We can see for ourselves right now that WIDS, it's global. And then, in fact, in today's session, today's conference, we have well over 9 speakers who are outstanding, and women in particular, doing amazing things with in-depth practical knowledge, and they will be speaking exclusively on some selected topics. So, but before we proceed, I want us to give a shout out because there are still some men in our midst. So I want to give some shout out to the men in our midst today who have defied all the odds, and they are here. We really appreciate your presence, and we thank you for all your support. Thank you so very much for joining in. What you have mentioned again is our keynote speaker today, who is also the co-director for Women in Data Science at Stanford University. So you need to listen to her today. She's going to be talking to us, answering some questions that have been making the rounds about how the WIDS movement began, how it commenced, what led to the commencement, and then how you can get into it. How can you get into that space as a woman in data science? She will be tackling all that today. And also, just to incite us, to make us understand the flow of today's meeting, we shall be learning about the super smart woman, and then saying that disruption has become the new normal. What's our way of escape? Yes, data science is the key, and you're going to be looking at that as well today. We'll also be exposed to a new programming skill, which is the Arrow model. And you're going to be having hands-on on this Arrow model session. Then, in all our daily tasks and roles, you know, we find a lot of repetitions. Most of you came from industries. And when you get into your office, you might be doing a particular report from morning till 11, and that takes up a chunk of your time. You're going to be introduced to intelligent automation today. Yes, we have one of our speakers who is going to be speaking to us about intelligent automation and how we can utilize this emerging technology of intelligent automation to automate our processes. And of course, we also have another quick hands-on session that will be making us to build a simple chatbot. Yes, we have that session. You do it yourself. You build a simple chatbot, and you'll be proud you were able to do that today. That's another automated process, another hands-on we are going to be having today. So, are you still there? Probably you're hunting it between opinions whether to embrace data science or not. You're dilly-dallying, you're not sure, should I leave my current job or what do I need to do? I tell you, there is no sector in life that you belong to that you do not need data, because everything we do in this whole wide world is centered around data. So we'll also be bringing our way what you need to do to emerge in this technology, what you need to do to strive in this field called data science. So having all the data as well, you know, most of us during this pandemic, you know, we've got to see a lot of free courses making the rounds on the social medias, on the internet, and other spaces. And then when you try to log into those spaces, what you see is you need to fill in some details. You need to supply your name, your number, your email address, and all whatnot. How secure are this data you're supplying on the cyberspace? So we're going to have another incredible speaker come to tell us about data security and what we need to embrace in this 2020 and 21st century data age. So we can't also begin this session without saying a very big thank you to all the women in data science Lagos region evangelists and supporters. So we begin by thanking the women in data science global community. They have been so after us, they've been all over us to make sure that this program is a huge success. So we shout out to women in data science global community at Stanford University and other regions that have tuned in and have made today a huge success. We are very grateful to you. We thank our WIDS evangelists and the organizers. We also thank our proud supporters. We mentioned Google developers, And particularly, we want to thank Transform Africa. Transform Africa has been up on us. They have been the pioneers of our supporters for this year's event. And so we pleaded with them to send us one of their resources. And we are so privileged as well and honored to have one of their directors coming today to speak to us about putting women at the forefront of this data age. Yes, she'll be speaking to us on that topic. And then we really are grateful because Transform Africa have generously and unreservedly, they've given us their time, they've given us their ideas, their enthusiasm, the technology, the creativity, and the leadership. We are so grateful to them. And then to all participants from across the globe, I can see all of you joining in from America, from Stanford, from all over. We are so very glad you're connecting with us, and we celebrate you all. We are honored to have you because without you, there will not be any WITS. And without you, there won't be any WITS Lagos region as well. So we have a question and answer tab in this meeting room. So if you've got any questions, please make use of the question and answer tab. Is up there on your screen. Just click on it and type in any questions you may have. Again, we have a pool, and that pool will be coming intermittently between our sessions. So as you get on the pool, is a few seconds pool. We encourage you to take time to participate and partake in this pools. It's just a few seconds of your time. You will also be seeing diverse freebies in our promotional videos and promotional emails. Yes, there are some free courses that will be coming our way after this conference. But for you to benefit from those freebies is going to be centered around some criteria. Those criteria will be determined by us, but it's strictly based on your participation, your active participation. We have already noted the very first person that connected on this conference. Will also note the people that will stay tuned into the conference, the people that will actively participate, the people that will be participating in the question and answer session in responding to our pools. So please, we crave your indulgence to really attend this event, and not just attending, but be very attentive to make sure you have something to take away and to make sure that we hear your story after now. So the free courses will be centered around data science, around the around certified system auditor and security manager. You know what that means in the IT space, in the technology space, and you know the worth of these courses that will be coming our way, totally free of charge, although not completely free for all, is one of the freebies we'll be enjoying. Depending on your attentiveness, when we measure out the criteria, some of you will be having it free of charge. Some of you will be discounted. You know, the courses will be discounted for you at the end of the day too, but we'll communicate the winners to you at the end of the event. We may not be able to do that because we may not be able to ascertain today. We need to go get some insight from the data we're going to be acquiring from this session, and then we come back to you via email and our various communication channels. So that's about the freebies. And the freebies could also be centered around the pools that you respond to, how responsive you are. Again, we will be having a survey session at the end of the session, at the end of this event. And that survey session comes automatically with 2 free ebooks for every participant of today's event. So there are a whole lot of things you would benefit from outside of the knowledge acquisition we will be having today. So feel free to mingle, feel free to learn, feel free to network with every one of us here. So I urge us to sit back and relax because I'm convinced you'll be glad you partook of today's conference. And with these remarks of mine, I want to make you understand as well that I, humble self, Vivian Carlo, I am the proud MC for today's event. I will be emceeing today's event, so I'm going to make sure that no speaker exceeds the time and keeps you here waiting. I hope you're happy to hear that. Yes, thank you so very much again. How it is, we declare WITS Lagos 2020 conference open by welcoming Ms. Omotayo Ikudaisi to begin her presentation on the Super Smart Woman. Thank you so much.
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you coming from. My name is Omotayo Titi Ikudaisi. I'm a business data analyst currently at AB Microfinance Bank, and I have a series of experience in data science field. I've always been a data analyst for long, been a data scientist. Presenting to you today the qualities of a super smart woman, the story of a data scientist. So moving on, the story of a data scientist, the qualities you should find in the life of a data scientist are not limited to this, but these are very, very special and very, very important to use as an aspiring data scientist or as currently a data scientist. You have to be inquisitive. Then you have to pass your message with clarity. Then you have to also be very creative. You shouldn't be the routine type. This is the way we do it. This is the way I've always seen it. You should be creative. Then you should also share your knowledge. You should also share your reports and give your information with great humility. So as a data scientist, for my first point, starting with my first point, moving on, being inquisitive. As a data scientist, we need to have an unquenchable enthusiasm in learning new knowledge and skill due to the rapid growth and revolution changes in the data science field. You have to be very inquisitive. You have to be on your toes. You have to be on your feet. You have to look out for what is the software, what is the new lines of code, what is the next development, the next stuff that is on ground for you. Like right now, there are a lot of skills to learn. Being a data scientist, you have to know how to use some core programming tools, which some of them will be discussed during this webinar. You have to know how, at some point, you have to know how to code in probably some programming language. You have to know how to connect with database. Our job also is to ask questions of people and data. You have to always see that the data you are working on, you have to, has a lot of quality, what we call data quality. You have to do constant data checks. And some individuals they don't know, they don't care about what you go to get those things done. But you know, this is what is going to show your credibility as a data scientist. So we must be curious about what we are doing, what industry we are, be it financial industry, be it the medical industry. Don't just say I'm a data scientist. This is what it has to be. You have to understand their methods. You have to understand, if you are in the medical field as a data scientist, you have to understand that, okay, this is what is required, what is what they are doing. Probably you have to know about blood samples, you have to know about the injection, you have to know about so many things in that field. If you are in the financial field also, you also have to understand some things about accounting. Probably it might be in the commercial bank, it might be in the financial microfinance bank. You have to understand their terms. You have to know how to communicate with these terms. This is going to help you become a very great data scientist. Now moving on to my next point, which is clarity. Translating analysis output into actionable business insights and communicating them to business stakeholders is the most significant trait of a great data scientist, in as much as you are able to do the analysis, to use all the methods, be it machine learning methods, build your models, be it artificial intelligence, do the visual. You have to know how to communicate your message with much clarity. They have to understand the people you are dealing with, your business partners, your colleagues, the stakeholders. They have to understand, because that is when the message you are passing, the information you are passing is going to be of great value to the company, to the organization you are trying to pass it to. So you have to pass your message with a lot of clarity. Moving on to my next point, which is creativity. One should also try small, spontaneous lifestyle changes. Sometimes being a data scientist, probably a software developer, what I've learned, what I've read about some people's definition about data science, which they say data science is doing better than a programmer and doing the analysis more than a statistician or more than a mathematician. Sometimes this could be a bit tough for you. You have to be very creative. You have to maintain what I mean by you have to you just have to maintain some kind of sanity. Like you shouldn't do things in a routine way at all times. You shouldn't follow okay, this is the way it's always. You should come up with ideas. You should rub mind with people in your field. This is going to help you being creative. And you see, one thing is you can decide to learn a new language. This I'm just trying to like queue up some things that we could do personally to help boost our creativity, our brain creativity, rub minds. You can decide to change location, view how nature is. You could learn a new language, as I've mentioned, get a friend to dialogue with, be it maybe French, maybe a language. This is going to help to boost your creativity. This is going to help you see things from other viewpoints and make you not stranded in getting creative. That's just I'll just call that a bonus to this presentation. Moving on to my next point, which is humility. The inquisitive data scientist knows that he doesn't know everything and is always looking for new things to learn. And as you keep learning, you just suddenly see that you know so much, and you feel, well, I know this thing so much. I know about this field. Maybe you did a project in the medical field, and you because you sat down with a lot of their handouts, a lot of their stuffs, you feel that you know so much. You've done, maybe after doing with medical fields, you did with the engineering field, or you did with the financial field, and you just feel, oh, I have so much wealth of knowledge. You see, the knowledgeable data scientist needs to swallow her pride in no matter what she knows. The fact is just that this is what your job, this is what is required in your field of being a data scientist. You don't have to just be a mastermind. Don't come up with a know-it-all attitude. Present your solutions, your findings with great caution. Acknowledge your stakeholders, acknowledge people. Understand that you are rendering the services to them, so give it to them with a lot of humility and be ready to listen to them. Even sometimes you might feel, oh, this thing is so simple, why are they not understanding? Why are they you don't need to talk. You just need and understand their own perspective, their own point of view. So you need to present your findings with all humility. These are the things that is required for you as a data scientist. So running all through my points from beginning, you see the qualities of being a great data scientist. Number one, know that you have to be inquisitive, be on top of your game, be on your toes, understand what is necessary, be updated, don't slack. Don't say, oh, in that year, I remembered one year when I used to use XPSS for all of my analysis. But right now, I see that the world is trending. A lot of things is going on. You see, you need to be very inquisitive. You need to present your findings with clarity. You need to be highly creative, then present your findings with humility. So for more, if you have more questions to ask from me, if you need to connect with me, on the screen you see my Twitter handle and my Facebook handle. My DMs are open. You can DM, you can private chat, you can message me, and I'll be so willing to answer your question. Thank you very much, and keep enjoying and WITS conference, WITS Lagos conference 2020. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much, Omotayo. I got that message very well. I was taking notes because I have my notepad close by. I need to be inquisitive, and we need to be clear, we need to be creative, and we need to be humble. Thank you so much. So everyone, I'm sure you were delighted to have these qualities that would make you super smart and stand out, even in this amazing field called data science. So remember, if you've got any questions, we have the Q&A session, the question and answer session. You can just drop in your questions there. There will be a Q&A session where we will attend to all the questions. Also, if you want to have a one-on-one with any of the speakers, kindly indicate. You'll be given that opportunity as well. You know, a kind of tete-a-tete, as she has told us, you need to get a mentor, you need to have someone you look up to, all catered for at this conference. Getting those people outside here is not too easy, I must tell you the truth. But you would have that opportunity and privilege here. So remember too, if you're here, you're a startup or you're looking to start up something, you still need to hold on. We have our Transform Africa, our supporters. They would walk you through the mentorship program. If you're interested, just indicate. You can set it as a question and answer and all that. I don't know if I remember to mention that we have a handout session. Our practical sessions, the handouts have been placed on the handout session for you to download. So please, you'll be able to download this handouts for your practical session. You need to download the R Studio. I need to download a data set that was uploaded on that handout. And that will come after the next session we are having now. We have the first practical session where we'll be able to use the Arrow model to do some hands-on. So ahead of time, you could download so that you're not distracted when the session commences. And so with these few remarks, I want to welcome the second speaker. The second speaker is by name Mojisola Olawepo. She is someone I refer to as data personified. I can't tell you much about her. You would hear from her yourself. She was to be at our WITS conference last year, but due to some contingencies, she couldn't make it. And this year, I had to pull her right from November last year to book her calendar because she's always fully booked. And luckily, we got her available for this date. And then early this week, she came under the weather. And I was just praying and saying, wow, I can't afford to miss her. So this is a session you can't afford not to listen to. Disruption, the new normal, data science, the key. I will leave the floor to Mojisola to speak on. You will hear more about her. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your time with Moji.
Thank you, Vivian. I'm excited being here. Thank you, WITS, for giving me the opportunity to speak on this amazing topic called disruption. Disruption is a new normal, and you will agree with me that data science is your key. Even if you don't agree with me that data science is your key, today I'm going to convince you with everything that I have that data science is the key to unlock the new normal. Now, I will introduce myself. My name is Mojisola Olawepo. I currently work with Microsoft as an account technology strategist, focusing on various cross industries around the banking industry, manufacturing, telcos, and all. I used to work with Sterling as the lead data analytics and insight officer, driving changes around data science, data governance, and also, monitoring around data architecture. I'm currently the founder of Everything on Data, a platform where we teach analytics, business intelligence, and advanced analytics, machine learning using R as our tool. I lead, and I'm also the founder of the Global President for Women Global Education, where our focus basically is to help women achieve so much more in various STEM skills. So when I mean STEM skills, skills around technology and all that. And let me now shock you. I'm actually a graduate of economics. I didn't have anything to do with science. So I found myself really, I've always been inquisitive. And when I found myself in the data world, when I noticed that data was the key to disruption, I actually noticed this earlier, I took it up upon myself to become more driven by technology, and technology has taken me over. So if you are here today and you are wondering and you're saying to yourself, how do you start? I studied psychology in school. Let me tell you something, you are in the right space. And let me tell you something, you can achieve so much more because already you are disrupted. I'm not going to say much. I'm going to play this video, and it's talking about change and you being a disruptive force. Moving on.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen. The future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
All right, thank you all. So fantastic. You will agree with me that the future is now. There was a time there was this post by Weft speaking to the future 2020 about skills that we need to have, and 2020, sorry, about skills that we need to have. And I remember talking about it to so many people. However, because of some disruptive force, some things, catalysts that have happened over time, you will agree with me that the future is on us right now. And right now, you are the only center point in the tornado of change. You are the only one that can actually upskill to get to that point. Disruption is a disturbance or is a problem which interrupts. I want us to notice those colored words. Disturbance and problems that interrupt activity, processes, or events. COVID-19 was a catalyst driving disruption in so many ways. The way we work changed over time. From the way we work to the way we relate to things, to our daily lives, everything changed because COVID-19 as a pandemic changed so many things. Even our roles started changing. There were some roles that some organizations noticed and were like, oh, I don't think I need this role anymore, because those roles were not tied strategically. They were not tied technologically, and they were not disruptive. And I just want to point it out. There is no role that is bad. But the question is that, have you redefined your role? Can you reimagine that role to become a disruptive force? Can you make it something that is radical and is driven by technology? I see a lot of people telling me that, oh, I don't want my role to be automated, because if I automate my role, what else am I going to be doing at the office? But that is wrong. The question is, whatever role or whatever skill that you have right now, which is not technologically driven, which is not strategically driven, what you're supposed to do is that you're supposed to look for how you can be able to reimagine that role, so that when you automate the role, you are looking for other strategic things that you can do on that role so that you continue to remain relevant. You will agree with me, even prior to the COVID-19, I used to like going to watch movies at the cinema. But right now, I didn't even like Netflix. But right now, I am doing a lot when it comes to Netflix. Uber belongs to the app ride sharing industry. And you also agree with me about how Uber has been able to modernize the way transportation is. In fact, now I don't even like looking for taxi. I just want to search for Uber before I go out. Google too has come up with so many things. Moving on. All right. So I'll just quickly speak to trends that are driving disruption. The internet of me. You will agree with me also that a lot of things that we do right now is on our mobile phone. From the point of even buying as little as you want to buy a pen, you are buying it online. I do it. I've become so obsessed online because I don't want to go out. I'm thinking about the COVID and I don't want to even put on a mask. So everything is online right now. I'm going to speak about another one, the platform revolution, defining ecosystems and redefining industries. A lot of people, in fact, schools have started going online. If you want to do anything now, it's online. If you are doing a business right now, what you should be thinking is that, how can I redefine this platform that it can work for me online? There are so many organizations now, everything they do is online. Prior to the pandemic, a lot of people thought that, that it wasn't possible to actually actualize so many things online. So if you really need to drive your business, if you really need to be disruptive, you need to start reimagining things around platforming. I will speak to Workforce Reimagined. Most organizations, their staff, they're working from home. I can't remember the last time I've been to the office. The last time I've been at the office was, I think it was in March, but I can tell you that I've been working from home. So I collaborate from home, Teams, using Zoom and all that. So, I mean, this is disruption. This is the way we are right now. We just have to adapt and we have to accept the way it is. And that is why we are having this session today. Moving on. So the question I'm going to ask now is, how do we adapt and stay relevant in the face of disruption? Do not be afraid of failing. The first question you tell yourself is that, I want to be disruptive, I want to be relevant. But the question that a lot of people are scared of, failing. Fail first, fail fast, learn and move on. That should be the mindset. The next is maximum agility. A lot of people will tell you that, I have so many responsibilities. You know what? I'm tired. I don't think I can go through this. No, Amina will do the job. No, this one will do the job. That is not agility. Agility means being fast and ready to move at a point where there is a disruption. When there is a disruption like this, somebody is telling you that, oh, data analytics, data science, machine learning, they will tell you that it is a buzzword. Sorry, data is not a buzzword, because everything that happens from your daily lives to what you do is driven by data. Now, you should be ambitious. Think big. See yourself as that catalyst of change. See yourself as that space that wants to belong and needs to change things. If you don't see yourself as doing the impossible, then you will continue to remain the way you are and never become disruptive. I'll just say this: say yes to taking risks. I took a risk from becoming an economist to becoming a technologist. My risks paid off because I believe that technology is the future, and I was able to grab that opportunity. I took the risks and I started learning. My learning paid off. That should be the mindset. Live with change. We are living in constant change. Be alert, be ready to change, and be flexible. Moving on. So what is your choice? Moving on. Would you rather focus on adapting and staying relevant to disruption, or be an observer whose skills will go into extinction? Because that is just the fact. A lot of skills will go into extinction, but how do you redefine your skills? Moving on. I've already said this before. We have so many the technology trends that are driving disruption: IoT, blockchain, data ecosystem, just to mention a few. And data and AI, data is a key driver of relevance, because even on IoT, blockchain, data ecosystem, and every other technology, there's data being gotten from each and every system. At the end of the day, data is the key driving force that drives insights, that drives decisions around these other technologies. So if you understand data, you can understand every part of the data disruptions that we have. Now, moving on, what is data basically? I've been speaking about data from the beginning and disruption. Data are facts, statistics collected together for reference or analysis. AI is the ability of a data computer to perform tasks commonly associated with intelligent beings. So definitely, there's going to come a time already, the time is already here. We have robots already performing some tasks that humans do. But you know what? They are leveraging this large amount of data. That means that data is actually a very strong force of disruption. Moving on. Imagine the various insights that can be delivered every day to drive disruptive changes. I just want to take you through how much data is produced every day. 2.5 exabytes are produced every day, which is equivalent to, let me explain it, 530 million songs. Imagine you have 530 million songs to be listened to per day. That is the number or the amount of data that is being produced. 150 million iPhones, or even your Android phone, 5 million laptops, 250,000 libraries of Congress, 90 years of HD video. That is how much data you generate every day. Imagine the kind of insights. Imagine the kind of insight that you can unearth from data, the kind of intelligence, what kind of things that you can be able to change using data. Moving on, why should you care? I mean, someone can say, oh, what's my business? Why should I care? I'm still not excited. Now I'm going to tell you why you should care. Because the future is in data, is in data science, and is in AI. I'm going to show you now via this video. Moving on. Let's watch this.
Artificial intelligence, harbinger of doom, destroyer of jobs, and pure science fiction. In a world of fake news, be careful what you believe.
In fact, AI has been running in the background for over 60 years. And the robots haven't taken over just yet.
In 1950, Alan Turing gave us the Turing test to gauge whether a machine could think like a person. Christopher Strachey created the first AI program in 1951.
And in 1996, IBM's Deep Blue became the
first chess-playing computer to defeat a reigning world champion.
Today, AI is no longer the plaything of governments and corporations.
It's an undeniable part of everyday life.
From Google search and Spotify song recommendations to X-ray analysis and Alexa, machine learning is touching and augmenting every aspect of our lives. But this moment, right now, is unlike any other in the history of AI. We're heading towards a revolutionary transformation, and the pace of change is accelerating. Imagine a world without traffic jams, where cars drive centimetres apart, freeing up road networks. Imagine safer streets, where AI help police officers predict with an accuracy of 98% whether a criminal will reoffend if released on bail. Imagine people living longer, healthier lives thanks to faster, more accurate diagnosis. Motor insurers that use real-time data to prevent tired drivers from having accidents.
Banks using facial stress analysis to automatically detect ATM fraud.
Virtual independent financial advisors that work proactively on your behalf 24/7 for free.
Previously unthinkable levels of customer experience are the new normal.
This is no longer the stuff of science fiction. This is quickly becoming the reality of AI. AI is already augmenting human functions, and its advance within business environments is truly exponential. Using AI to redefine financial products, processes, and growth is very much a consideration for now. For business leaders, there are strategic actions to be taken today that will help ensure your business is still relevant and competitive tomorrow. Virtual employees will augment the human workforce, freeing up people to do more satisfying, higher value tasks. Processes that once took whole days will take only minutes.
And AI will soon be unlocking trapped value in your data. New markets will be created and existing ones redefined.
Productivity will be transformed. The impact on your business and your customers will be revolutionary. With such a great opportunity comes an equal risk. Those slow to begin tactical AI projects now will ultimately be left behind,
whereas those who start their journey soon will reap the rewards.
Now is the time to lay the foundations of your firm's AI-driven future. Advances in AI will not merely change the way financial service providers operate, they will revolutionize the lives of stakeholders, customers, and employees forever. And the first to move will become the leaders.
So let me ask you this. Do you want to embrace AI now, or wait for your competitors to embrace it first so you're left behind?
AI is here. Where are you?
Fantastic. AI is here. Where are you? Why should you care? I like the first part, scavenger of doom, destroyer of jobs. It's happening already. Jobs are being reimagined using the power of data. Today, many organizations are becoming more and more data-led, leveraging analytics, AI, and machine learning. Data has become a decision-driving disruptive strategy for today's businesses. No one wants to make loss. Everybody is talking about profitability. Everybody is trying to cut costs. Where are you? Are you one of those that are sitting behind and saying, you know what, I don't care what the organization is saying? Or are you helping your organization to drive this disruptive decision making using data? Moving on. I would like to say this. There still exists a job for you. It is estimated that there will be a projected 28% increase in the demand for data science through 2020. This report came earlier this year, and these figures have also increased. The demand for data scientists could outpace supply by 250,000 jobs by 2024. That means that most organizations decided embracing the power of data, unearthing insights that they never knew they had before. And I want to say this. For every role that we perform in our places of work, reimagine it. It doesn't need to be IT, professional service, and finance, but reimagine your job using data as your bedrock and your platform. Moving on, I'll just quickly speak to the job opportunities. We have data science job roles, data engineers, data analytics. The list goes on and on. However, you need to be able to understand some specific things when you are going into this field. You need to be able to understand how to use statistics, how to think like a business intelligence analyst. How do you solve problems? You need to understand how to use some tools like Python, like R. It is compulsory. You can't just say you want to go into this field because everybody is going into it. You are going into it with the mindset that you want to succeed. And if you have to succeed, that means that you need to understand how to use the tools and how to also be able to analyze data appropriately, use the right models to solve problems. Not just use an algorithm because people are using algorithms to solve problems, but use the right set of algorithms, the right set of features to solve your problem. I would like to conclude today on my presentation with this. The next steps. What should you do? Immerse yourself in the immediate future, which is now. Reimagine yourself for the future of work, which is now. Learn just in time, not just in case. Think disruption. Think data transformation. Without data, let me tell you, you are just another person with an opinion. Thank you very much.
I know we are not able to unmute ourselves to give a round of applause, but please, if you're following, I want you to just drop it in the chat box. Hello, insightful, any comment at all you want, just drop it on the chat box there, please. Thank you so very much, Mojisola. I'm sure we got her message clearly. Disruption has become the new normal, and data science is the key. And you also heard that she herself is a disruption personified, coming from the economics background, and she was able to transit to this field of data science. And she did mention to us that she was anchoring the data sector of Sterling Bank, and now with Microsoft doing the same thing at the strategic level. So are you there? You're a medical doctor, you're connected, or you're into one of the health things, or you're into some aspects that are really sounds up. You can now see that you have a place in data science. There is data science in everything. There is data science in medicine, there's data science in nursing, there's data science in every aspect that you can get to. So you can hook up with us today or hook up with that today to walk you through on the glide path you need to transition this career to where the end thing is right now. So we're going to be having the first practical session, which is the Arrow model skills. But before then, we would take a short poll. Remember, we have our freebies, we have data subscriptions to give out, we have free courses to give out, we have free trainings to give out, and all that. And these are centered around your attentive participation. So please do not deprive yourself of any of this. These are just to keep us going in this conference, seeing that we can see one another. Had it been, it was an on-site conference, we can see ourselves, we would know what's going on. But here we are virtual, we can see what's going on. Someone might just be lying on the bed right now. So that's why we really crave your attentiveness, so that we can hear your story after now, just like we are hearing Mojisola's story. So now to the pool. Thank you very much for your time. Okay, the poll is over. Thank you so much for responding to this poll. Thank you so much for your time. So next we have Chioma. Chioma is a WITS ambassador. She's also the founder for Tech Edu Hub. She has this inclination towards youths and the female session. So you would hear Chioma, she will speak of herself right now, and then we go through the section. Thank you so much for your time. Hello everyone. So just Chioma is trying to load up her studio, complete loading the studio we're working with. So a bit of a moment. Remember to use the handout section to pick up the file we are working with right now. Thank you. So while we wait for Chioma to bring up her studio, I hope we have also all downloaded our studio so that we don't face the same things and so that we are carried along, because if you don't follow suit, you might be way back when she eventually begins her demonstration. The CSV file, that's the data set for the breast cancer, you will see in the handout session. Please download the Excel sheet and also download the Aru Studio so that once she's back up on her studio, we can follow suit. Right. Well done, everyone. I can't see any chats on the chat box yet. If you have any questions, please send it to the question and answer session. Thank you so very much. Okay, so while we wait for Chioma's studio to be back up, right, let's listen to the next speaker. That's about intelligent automation. You would have been hearing automation, AI. Now, let's listen to intelligent automation. Tolang is very known for intelligent automation. That's her area. She's the founder of RPA Nodjet. She's going to be speaking to us on intelligent automation. So I will call her on board to commence her session. Welcome on board, Tolang. Thank you so very much.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please, attendees, you could put up in a chat if you can't hear her, please. Drop a chat saying I can.
Okie dokie. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's good this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful event. From wherever you're joining, I'm presuming it's Nigeria only. My name is Tolang Matupa, and I'm from South Africa. I am the founder of RPA Nuggets, which you will hear about in a minute. It's an intelligent automation, AI, and analytics consultancy that is based in Johannesburg, South Africa. Next slide, please. So today I'll be covering with you intelligent automation, which is our area of speciality in RPA Nuggets. We'll look at what it is as a concept, some applications of intelligent automation, abbreviated IA. And to the topic of today, we'll look at how to prepare for the future of work as an African woman. And we'll look at a few careers that are available in intelligent automation, and then we'll take a few questions. So Shinazo, I presume it's okay for me to turn off my video now. Is that okay? Okay, so I'll just quickly do a brief introduction about our consultancy, which is RPA Nuggets, it came into fruition in 2019. In March 2019, RPA Nuggets catapulted into the consultancy that it is today, from what started as a skills development program that initially was covering only robotics process automation. So essentially what we were doing was we went into high schools, into universities, into orphanages even, and we trained graduates, we trained high school learners in robotics process automation. And from there, RPA Nuggets, the consultancy, was born. We provide software robotic automation solutions that are powered by AI. So sorry, Shinaza, you're still on the previous slide. Thank you. So we provide software robotic automation solutions that are powered by artificial intelligence, mainly to drive business value, mainly to help businesses make better decisions using the data, and hopefully make accurate business decisions using their data. And again, this was founded by myself, which my name is Tolang Matupa. Move on, Shinaza. Okay, so intelligent automation. This is a combination of artificial intelligence and robotics process automation. So it includes a workflow of automation. It's a combination of AI and automation, and already helping companies transcend conventional performance trade-offs to achieve unprecedented levels of efficiency and quality. So the applications of intelligent automation range from routine to revolutionary. So basically what I mean is from collecting, from analyzing and making decisions about textual information to guiding autonomous vehicles and advanced robots. Next slide, please. Let's look at some applications of intelligent automation. The first one is in processing situational and textual data. So basically, intelligent automation gives machines the ability to capture and analyze situational and textual data and come up with appropriate course of action. Secondly, it changes the way that your business functions, right? It helps us address certain business issues regarding the functioning of your business, such as processing vast volumes of data or the problem of high labor cost and labor scarcity, among others. And then lastly, it simplifies performance across various domains. With intelligent automation, machines can scan the data, they can check for the correctness, spot inconsistencies, and come up with multiple courses of actions apt for the required business requirement. Moving on. So you can see there's some examples of intelligent automation as applied in finance, for instance, for investment managers, as applied in healthcare. So with healthcare, there's an enormous amount of data that is available for medical research, and robots could suggest alternate treatments based on the symptoms and medical history of the patient. And then lastly, we see it applied with workflow software and conditional logic, where even though automated, right, that the consecutive steps depend on the logical outcome of the previously completed task with workflow softwares and conditional logic softwares. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Right, so let's look at preparing for the future of work as an African woman, right? What do you need to think about? What do you need to start thinking about to take advantage of the opportunities that the future of work presents? So you need to think about how the work is delivered, right? A workforce that is augmented by machines and powered by new models of talent. And this is speaking to the concept of the future of work and intelligent automation. You also need to think about how business is organized, meaning networks of teams that maximize the flexibility and innovations over a hierarchy. You need to also think about how people experience work. So understanding talent as well as understand your customers to build an employee-centric experience of work. And then lastly, you need to think about how work is enabled. So architecting an organization that leads the way by disrupting in the market instead of being disrupted. Moving on. But at the crux of all of these things that we've just mentioned is upskilling. This is a quote that forms part of our DNA at RPA Nuggets, and it reads, "When automation threatens employment, our response is neither denial or panic, but upskilling." And that's essentially what you need to do as an African woman, or as anybody really, to prepare for the future of work. Those that embrace agility and constant learning will be the ones that thrive in the future of work, which is really the very present moment that we're living in. There exists about 55 intelligent automation technologies, but there are 4 leading ones that I would like to touch on today that you can start looking on or at to embrace them, to learn about them, to catapult your career into technology and be prepared for the future of work. Moving on. So these are the leading or the top automation or intelligent automation technologies globally. And if you're thinking about either upskilling or changing careers, I would recommend that you look into either of these 4. You've got UiPath, you've got Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, and WorkFusion. So these are the top intelligent automation platforms that you can learn If you go into their website, you can find out more information about them to see how you can take the career paths that each of them follow and certify in their respective fields and become a professional in the field. These tools basically automate the interactions with the graphical user interface and do so by repeating a set of demonstration actions that are performed by a user. So they essentially replace what a human user would do that is mundane and repetitive. Then they would replace that and work as unmonitored or monitored digital workers. Next slide, please. So some examples of intelligent automation careers that are available in the market after going through or after upskilling yourself in the previous slides, platforms or intelligent automation career fields. These are what is available in the market. You can either become a developer, you can become an architect in the field, a business analyst in the field. So they're not only confined to technical ability. Someone who is a business analyst can see how to upskill themselves in a field like intelligent automation to become a specialist business analyst in intelligent automation. You can become an intelligent automation solution designer, engineer, or process designer. So there are many of them, but these are just a few of the highlighted ones for the purpose of this webinar. Next slide, please. Any questions? So I presume that is the end of my presentation, and I would like to take questions if there are any.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yes, do you have a question?
Hi, Tolang.
Hi, my name is Choma Omolaye.
Let them drop their questions in the question and answer session. Then we'll take it at the question and answer period so that we don't obstruct the flow.
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you so very much, Tolang. Hello, everyone. We heard it all. We heard about the intelligent automation, which is another emerging technology and is also a subset of data science and the related field. So you can see that there are a whole lot you can do with data science. And you can see that actually data science is not out there to throw you off your job, but rather to make you hone the field and the space better, to see how to better your work, better your life, and better your processes. Thank you so very much, Tolang. During the Q&A sessions, I'm sure we'll see you again because there are already some questions coming in around intelligent automation and how people can get into that space. So next, we'll now take the practical, the hands-on session by Choma Omolaye. Choma, welcome on board.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please drop your responses on the chat.
Okay, great. So sorry about the technical issue back there. I do not know what happened. Okay, my name is Choma Omolaye. I'm the founder of Tech Edu Hub. My story is also similar to Moji's story, who didn't study any science-related course. I found myself after school in the media and advertising world. There's lots of data to crunch, though. But I kept asking myself some questions. What if it's really big? Because I didn't think we were using so much of big data. What then do I do? So I love data. I wanted, you know, I practically was Googling, I was searching, and I was getting the right, sorry about this sound you hear. Okay, so I was searching and you know, I got into big data, and then big data threw me into machine learning. All right, so the first skill that I had wasn't actually using I mean, using machine learning, using what you call codes, programming language for machine learning. The first skill I had was the non-coding platforms, so I got comfortable with that, right? Before I then into some kind of, programming language. It was first Python and then R. Okay, so well, this session will be 5 minutes. Apologies for that. I hope you have downloaded your R and R Studio. I've created the visualization already, so as not to take so much time. Done the work already. Give me a minute. Do I need to move this? Where you will see the clusters. Sorry, that's a neural network. So the work has been done. So, but I just want to get us excited. I want to get us excited to actually writing some code, to actually writing a program. So it's not really rocket science. So if you have that opened and if you have saved your CSV file in a folder, you can call it breast cancer data, breastcancerdata.csv, as I had earlier advised. And before I continue, please, if you also want to actually do some volunteering jobs, in data, in handling data, you can visit NGOs. They have lots of database and they need help with people helping them do things. Okay, so you can volunteer to work with NGOs, maybe until you're more comfortable with what you learned and what you're doing, and then you can start applying to other fields. So I would like to say that this data point is from an empathy point of view, right? Because breast cancer, it's really ravaging the whole world. Like the other day, I just learned someone died of breast cancer, and it's really, really appalling. What if we can do some predictions with the database that we have? Okay, and getting data is practically the same way doctors get data. So while I was pregnant, I'm sure my doctor gathered enough data about it, because I was always coming to the hospital and he was always typing information on the system. Complained of this, complained of that, complained of that. So what if we can use all of those doctors' reports to say, oh, is she going to have a safe delivery or not? Is she going to have a safe delivery or not? Okay, so that is how you begin to think, about data. Is this going to happen or not? How do we classify this? There's a lot of data. How do we cluster? How do we find correlations in this data? And then how do we perform some kind of predictions? All right. Okay, so the first few lines, which is not all the lines for this activity, just to get you excited to bring in your CSV file in R. First of all, if you're already here, okay, you go to File. When you go to File, you go to New. I wish someone was doing this with me. I need to know what you're seeing and what you're not seeing. Okay, but hopefully you might also want to click here, okay, on this icon, so that you see your results also down here, okay? Don't bother about the things that you're not seeing on your system. I've done some work and doing some practice on how easy I can actually pass on this message to you. All right, so if you've done this, your screen should be looking like mine. It should have 4 segments, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully, I wish someone can tell me in the chat if you're not seeing what I'm saying. Okay, but basically, so we need to bring in our CSV file, which is this way. Read. So if I do file and I do new file and I do R script, okay, so it creates a blank workspace for me. And then the next thing, read your CSV breast cancer data. You might have called yours something else. You might have called yours BC data. You might have called yours cancer data. I do not know what you called yours. But whatever you called yours, you need to edit it in this bracket. Please edit it in the bracket. Edit it in the bracket, okay? Whatever you called yours, and make sure you put .csv, okay? Okay, so I hope we're all there. So the next thing we're going to do, because it's running, I hope you see that it's running. You see the red, what you call it shows that it's running, so it has stopped running. So all your data has been brought in now, okay, which you can see here. Then the next thing we might want to do is to find out the characteristics of our data. Okay, Control C, give me a minute. And then, right, so this is to find out the characteristics of your data, how many integers, which columns represent integers, which columns represent, and all that. So we can do this, we run. Okay, then the next thing you might also want to do, so you can see down below, you've got IDs in integers, most things are in integers. Diagnosis, it's in factors, so it's in levels. So whether it's malignant or not, you get. So the next thing we will do now is, what's the next step I have here, is to find out if they are missing values. Is to find out, please give me a minute. Let me stop my share, I'm coming. Please give me a minute. I need to go in. Just give me a minute, please. Please give me a minute. Need to do something quick, really quick. Please give me a minute, please. Accumulate what's going to be for something. Give me a minute, please. I think I've stopped sharing. Taking more than a minute already. Whew. Sorry, it's a bit slow from here. Okay. I'm sorry, Chinazo. I'm kind of caught up in between things. So sorry, but please, if you give me like 30 seconds to clear it off, please.
Apologies, everyone. Let's hold on for the studio, please. Thank you.
So sorry, it's really so urgent. Between things, right. Because my system is now a bit slow. Right. Whoosh. Not looking good.
Hey everyone, we sincerely apologize for this break in transmission. You know, this has to do with practicals and then the RU Studio. So please, I crave your indulgence. Size little questions, please. Thank you so much. Hi everyone. While we hold on for Chioma to continue with the practical sections, we're going to be taking a poll right now. For all the people sending in questions, we are having your questions, we are receiving your questions during the Q&A period. They will all be attended to, okay? So as not to obstruct the flow. So we're going to be taking the poll right now, and afterwards we get back again on our hands-on with the RU Studio. Thank you so much, and we apologize sincerely for the break. Thanks again. Hi everyone, welcome back. Again, we apologize for the break. So in order not to keep us waiting, just spend on your practical work that you were doing. We will move on to the next speaker right now. Thank you so much too for your time in the pool section, in the pool time. We'll have Imole tell us what is required to thrive in the data science space. Please do sit back and listen because I'm convinced you would be insightful about this. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Imale Ayomide Ajayi. I work as a lead business data analyst at AB Microfinance Bank Nigeria, and I'm also a WIT ambassador for Lagos State. So I would like to take us on what we need to thrive in the data scientist space. First of all, what is data science? Data science is a combination of applying statistical tools to existing data in order to generate new insights. And those insights are being converted into small changes to business process or services, which in turn brings about smarter work, a more efficient and effective use of staff and resources in an organization. Moving on, I would like to talk about what data science is not and what data science is. So data science brings about automation and change in services or processes, but it's not an academic research really, but it brings about data science brings about small changes, not the major overhauls or disruptions to business. Lastly, data science makes use of existing data, historical data, which means you don't have to, most data scientist projects does not need collection of new information or new data mostly. Moving on, I'd like to talk about a data scientist good example. You know, a company named DPH, since 2011, they've been having an increase in mothers dropping out of their nutrition programs. So they are left to the question of which moms are at most risk of dropouts. So data science could help us solve this problem by building a predictive model that identified moms and infants who are at greatest risk of dropping out. Profiles that they've detected through the use of data to conduct targeted interviews to identify the barriers in the nutrition program they were having, and then make service changes, which results into reducing the dropout rate of moms, infants, and children, leading to healthier outcomes for both. So what we do as a data scientist is to ID a gap and flag it out immediately in order to start looking for solution with the use of the existing data that we have, in order to bring about solution and deploy it. Moving on. The skills required to become a data scientist. Anyone in any field, be it business, be it health, be it sports, be it cultural activities. Anyone interested in building a stronger career in this domain should actually gain critical skills in this department. You need to be analytical in thinking. So you have to get critical skills in analytics, in making sure that you are able to derive insights, analyze any situation, raise necessary questions to identify gaps or problems in data. Then you need to get a knowledge in programming as well. The knowledge in programming is an essential need for a data scientist, because in data science, you have to have some little bit of computer knowledge and being able to write programs that could quickly perform tasks with your data. And also you have to have the domain knowledge. Like I used to say, we data scientists, we are versatile. It means that in any field, whether health or business, we are versatile in a way that we can relate to the field. For example, that data like we just did some minutes ago, you need to be able to identify that, okay, an outcome of a test for a breast cancer patient could be benign or malignant. Like it could be cancerous and non-cancerous. So you need to understand that particular domain knowledge about the data that you are analyzing. So going one level deeper, the following skills will help you to carve out the niche that you need as a data scientist. So if you're just going into the data science space, you need to be ready to take small steps, because the data scientist journey could be overwhelming. You don't take on too many skills at the same time. If you want to learn something, have a strong knowledge of Python, for example, you need to focus your data analyst journey at a particular time on Python, so that you don't be the master of all and have knowledge in all and be master of none. So you need to focus your attention on one data scientist work tool at a goal. Although there will be a time in your data scientist journey where you will be able to, go here and there. That is when the flexibility of you learning comes in, because at times you might need to do your tasks in Python or R or Scala or any other data science work tools. But by the time you have a base knowledge of one, you'll be able to use that base knowledge of one to be able to interact with others. So, and Also, an essential skill I like to tell people to learn is SQL database coding. Now, in the world today, yes, the demand is increasing for data scientists. We know that. But in some organization, transitioning has not been that easy, because now most organizations in Nigeria, for example, store their data on SQL databases, and for you to query or extract the data you want to analyze, you have to query that data. Else, you need to depend on some other stakeholders for that. And take it from me, it's at times it's not often palatable. So it's always a smooth experience to have a knowledge of SQL database coding, so that you can be able to extract from any ETL or any databases. That way you can work with structured and unstructured data from various data sources. So understand multiple analytical functions, because when you do, you are able to quickly, when you identify a problem, understanding multiple analytical functions will give you insight to what tool in statistics, what tool in computer science that you need to employ to be able to solve that problem. So that way, you are fast in making decisions on what to use at any time a gap that you want to solve is identified. So lastly, on what is required, you need to acquire the knowledge of machine and deep learning, because these two tools has a lot of problem solving analytics on beneath it. So because their base is in neural networks, and neural networks these days is solving a lot of real world problems. Moving on, I would like to talk about, okay, when you eventually, moving on, I would like to talk on when you eventually become the data scientist, how to stay in that space and thrive as a data scientist. First, you need to fast track your learning. You need to fast track your learning. Take online courses through Coursera, DataCamp, Simplilearn, DataQuest, and some other code schools that focus on the skills that you want to learn. Now, those courses does not necessarily have to be related to data science, but for example, if you're a data scientist and your interest is in the health sector, for example, so you can take courses that are health related, so that you familiarize yourself with that sector, so that when you see a particular data, you are able to relate with it. I'd like to tell you a short story about earlier on in this year, when we had WITS Datathon 2020. The challenge was to create a model that uses data from the first 24 hours of intensive care to predict patient survival. So in this case, you have to get to know your data, because the data collected was from the hospital. You have terms like hospital intensive care unit, and now on this, it was the first time I'm hearing ICU. I hear ICU a lot, but I don't actually know the meaning. But now this task made us to go an extra mile and research on what it means. So read as much as you can on data science. It includes academic papers, textbooks, and other educational materials, and even the current industry reports. Become involved with a data science or a development community, because there are so many to choose from. Pay attention to their posts, their material, and their important discussions. You can learn a lot from your peers. Like my co-presenters mentioned earlier, that you need to be humble. You need to recognize the fact that in the field of data science, there is nobody knows it all. So you need to be able to, I call it, gather information from different different sources to make sure that you develop yourself to a stage you want to be. And again, you can find a mentor. If you can, whoever works in the industry or has experience in data science. So this includes programmers, developers, data scientists, statisticians, engineers, and more, because data science is a versatile field. When you meet them regularly and you pose questions and hear their experiences, these questions and experiences that you hear, answer to these questions and experiences that you hear can actually give you insight to what to do next. You know, people are developing things with data science, and they are doing things with machine learning. They are making predictions. So that alone can actually you can identify a gap that would boost your career from talking with people in the industries. People in the industries, they don't have your knowledge of data. So you have the knowledge of data, listening to them can spring up what to do for you that will help them automate better. And that way, you are being relevant in your line of work. So pay regular visit to Kaggle and UCI Machine Learning Repository and participate in data problems. Now, these platforms, Kaggle, for example, it's competition based, yes, but mostly people participate not because of the competitions or maybe they want to win, but because they want to gain a knowledge of data. Like I mentioned earlier that with Omotayo and I and some other friends of mine participated in WIT Datathon 2020, and we came, okay, we're in the first, we're in 11% leaderboard. So we didn't win, but we learned a lot of things. We learned how to train our data using GPU. GPU can be faster. So that was a knowledge gap that had been filled for us that participated. So normally it's not about winning the contest. So you can go there, learn from people, learn from other people's notebooks that have been dropped about a particular problem, participate. Then R and Excel are similar platforms, and other similar platforms like IBM, Cognitive Class. They are your friend. Don't be discouraged. If it takes long time to finish a problem, stick with it, and you pick up the pace over time. Moving on, I would like to tell you never to stop growing and learning. That is really how to actually stay in this space and thrive. Because be involved with data science communities and keep your ear to the ground for new courses and online resources that would help you improve and learn new skills. So the years you spend in training, which will go by very, very fast, believe it or not, you want to continue gaining more experience, more skills in new areas. If you don't have desire to learn new things, that is fine. Make sure you stay on top of your current skills and projects. I've interviewed people for data scientist role, and they come with long CVs of how much they can use the data science tools, and I'm like, okay, just use this one tool, and they are not able to do anything. So first of all, this is just going to be like a freebie to what I'm talking about. Apart from when you've done all the learning and you gain all the skills that you need to gain, you need to make sure that on your own you do projects on your own. Go online, look for industries, look for products and services, look for other things, look for gaps that you feel, okay, this method can solve. So you do that, you solve the method. For example, you take customer churn analysis, for example. So let's say you identify that, okay, Jumia, for example, they are losing customers, right? So you can come up with simulated variables or simulated data on how you can predict churn for Jumia. So in case Jumia invites you for an interview, you're able to say, okay, I'll be able to do this for you. And because you've done that before, the way to cross-sell yourself in the front of an employer who is interviewing you will be very easy. They will be interested. You would have already buy them over before even getting to walk out of the interview. So what I'm just trying to say is, it's not, when you have done all the learning, make sure it sticks with you. Make sure you are insightful about what to do with what you've learned. So make sure that you stay on top of your current skills and projects and be able to defend them anywhere at any point in time. From 2006 to 2019, for instance, popular data scientists have grown from just data or business analysts to include data scientists, business analysts, big data specialists, machine learning specialists, data visualization experts, and much more. But the growth is now happening faster than ever before as major brands and organizations adopt this technology and implement new machine learning and data science initiatives. So no matter what, never stop growing and learning. Otherwise, you may find yourself left in the dust compared to the rest of the industry. So thank you for listening.
Wow, thank you so much, Imole. I was carried away by administration as well, by your presentation. Thank you so much. I was trying to jot down things I need to thrive, because one thing is to learn, one thing is to keep learning. You know, to learn, you relearn. Just keep learning. Thank you so very much. The session was a very insightful one. So I hope we're getting value, everyone. At this point, we're going to take another poll right now. Please, I encourage us to participate in this next poll. We can see your questions, and then they will all be attended to at the Q&A session. Thank you so much for your time once again. Okay, so thank you so much for your time at the pool. Next section, we are really watching our time. Like I told you, I'll try to MC you very well so I don't keep you here waiting. I appreciate that you've been seated since 10:30 a.m. Over 400 people sitting here. No, I can't keep you waiting. So we'll move straight to the next topic. That is about data security, the trends you need to embrace in this 21st century, even in this data age. And we welcome Oyin Damola, who will speak to us. She will tell us about herself and then do justice to this topic. Thank you once again for your time. Enjoy your time on data security.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Apologies, please. My name is Olaliko Oyindamola. I'm the technical project director for Virtual Formatics, which is an ICT company. So without taking much of our time, I'll be going into data security and the trends we need to embrace in recent times. So moving on, let's talk about the difference between data science and data security. So as other presenters have mentioned, data science is a field that deals with a lot of scientific method, processes, and algorithms to be able to extract knowledge from both structured and unstructured data. So as such, it has to do with a lot of fields ranging from computer science to mathematics, statistics, and all of that. So I can say that data scientists are the detectives of the data era because they are responsible for harnessing valuable data insights through the analysis of various data sets. So just like detectives do, they find clues and they also interpret them. So data scientists are those that find clues from analysis and they help to interpret them. So moving on, data security has to do with the efforts, let me say deliberate efforts that organizations and individuals take to guarantee information security. So I'd like to talk about the elements of data security. So it's called a CIA trade, which is a security model that helps to guide individuals and organizations on how to keep their data from unauthorized access or data exfiltration. So the first one I'll talk about is confidentiality, which has to do with ensuring that your data is accessed by only authorized individuals. So not just anyone has access to your data, and that way you are sure that your data is confidential enough. Let's talk about integrity, which has to do with ensuring that the information you've got from your data set is reliable, and not just reliable but also accurate, as accurate as possible. And availability has to do with business individuals or having access to data, and not only having access, making sure that this data is available as at when due. So moving on, I'd like to talk about data security being the central theme of cybersecurity. We all know that most cyber attacks are geared towards compromising your both individual or organizationally owned data to use this data for fraudulent activity. As such, it's important that we regularly update and analyze our existing data that are crucial to the organization. Most individuals or organizations that have this big data find it very, very difficult to handle this data without having the input of data scientists. So the analysis of this big data proves a way of identifying the risks that are prone to, and on the long run, we are able to avert this cybersecurity attack. So I can say that data scientists help us to make recommendations if possible, and if adequately implemented, we are able to now detect the threat and use this to secure our company-owned data. Moving on. So I would like to talk about the influence of data scientists on cybersecurity, because data scientists help us to analyze our data, thereby helping us to ensure more security on our data. So to be able to increase how we handle our cybersecurity, data scientists helps to use three methods to be able to analyze our data. The first one is machine learning, which is an automated way that helps to learn and understand certain behavior. So what data scientists do is that they use this approach to detect if there's any irregular trend in your data, right from the reception to sharing of the data and to storage. So they're able to now identify, by analyzing, they're able to identify if there is any loophole that criminals can use to compromise the data. So after identifying the loophole, then professionals can now come to recommend measures that we can use to strengthen our security system. Also, we have associate rule learning, which is the approach whereby your machine learning technology helps you to recommend several measures that you can use to protect your data. So what ARL does is that it studies the characteristics of an existing data, and now automatically generates a response. So whenever it detects a deviation or an anomaly in data characteristics, you get an automatic response. So ARL automatically updates itself to ensure that any slight anomaly is detected. The last approach is the predictive analysis. So what they do with predictive analysis is that they analyze existing data, they compare it with their database, and they're able to now identify possible data security risks that are attached to specific data. So cybersecurity uses something called the intrusion detection system, which helps you to actively prevent changes. So what it does is it monitors both your users and devices and automatically flags down dangerous activities. So moving on. So I would like to talk about the retrospective data security trend. That is the data security trends that have been used in the past. In the past, we were more concerned about mainframe protection. Then we didn't have all these remote devices, your mobile devices, and we're not accessing our files remotely, as opposed to the recent times that people have to just work remotely and use their devices remotely, which poses more threat as opposed to what was happening in the past. So in the past, how people protect their data from data theft or data loss is that the first thing they do is to use firewall protection to protect access to their data, to protect unauthorized data, their access to their data. The next one is they use data patching, in the sense that they have their files in separate places. They have the same file stored in different places so that people do not, if one gets corrupt, they can always go to the other place. They can store their files in like 4 or 5 different systems. So whenever there's an issue with one, they go to the other one to access the files or the data that they have there, which is won't work in recent times. Now, the other one is virtual private network, which is deployed to help with the rise in remote work and third-party providers. There's no way that you can ensure that your endpoints are well secured. You cannot 100% ascertain that your endpoints are well defended, which now and hackers are able to see that, okay, people are working remotely. You can't ascertain their safety. So it now creates another golden opportunity for hackers to be able to now come in to get data from people. Also, talking about data encryption, this has to do with people having to encrypt their data. They automatically encrypt their data when it's written on the hard disk. So whenever it gets to the memory, then it's automatically decrypted. So, but along this line, you are able to only see your outer disk. So you can, during this process, have data loss. Your data might be missing and all of that. So I can say that data encryption is not really going to work in recent times. Also, moving on, there's something they call steganography, which is a program that helps you hide a data in other data. For example, you are able to hide a certain file. Let's say you have an Excel file or a file that contains a lot of data. So you're able to now hide this file under another file. It could be a file that is of the same type, or a graphical file, or an MP3 file, so that whenever it gets to where you need it, you're able to now exchange it with a security key that is private to you. But in recent times, this will not work because you could have data loss and things like that. So moving on. So considering the fact that sensitive data are now stored online in recent times because of the recent happenings and advancements in technology, so you have your financial, you have your customer data, you have your data sets, your information all stored online, all stored in the cloud. It's evident that if there is a breach at any point in time, it will have a very big negative impact on businesses. So to avoid all of this, and here I'd like to highlight a few things that we need to do in recent times. So the first thing that we all need to do as individuals or organizations is to change our mindset, because it has been observed that most organizations do not even give data security any seriousness at all, because people use poor passwords, they encrypt sensitive, they don't encrypt sensitive files, they can be misconfigurations at any point in time. And this attitude, I call it a sloppy attitude, though. This attitude can lead to loss of valuable information should there be any breach at any point in time. So as individuals, we must change our attitude towards data security. We must see data security as a topmost priority. Everyone must understand that data is very valuable to us. In fact, it's one of the most valuable assets that any individual or organization can have. So everyone must be made to understand the importance of data security, and not just your top executive. As such, you're able to now embrace the security best practices by using the authentication method, by authenticating identities of employees working both from on-prem or working from remote places. And we all know that cybersecurity is increasing rapidly. So it's very, very important that we arm ourselves with the right security tools. We enable privacy improvements that helps us to protect our assets. So in conclusion, data security should be given utmost priority, and also we must train our staffs accordingly. So moving on, I'll talk about infrastructure protection. it is important. It is very, very important that individuals, organizations secure their IT framework, because this is the only way that they can build a solid foundation, if I may say, a solid foundation for for a healthy data security plan. Because when you build when your infrastructure is protected, you are able to keep an eye on every component of your organization, starting from your devices that you use to access your data, to the system, to how you to how you access the files and everything. So you're able to ensure that everything that you use to access your data is protected, from your computer to your smart devices. Everything is protected against cyber attacks and malicious acts. So the IT team should make sure that all the systems are updated with the most recent OS operating system and the most reliable available antivirus solution. Also, they can configure additional firewalls to be able to ward off external attack, or let's say you want to have an unauthorized access into your network. The system is able to now detect it and protect it. Also, there are so many data protection tools. Currently, there's one you can use, the NordVPN, and also VPN is able to now add additional layer of security to keep your activities invisible to hackers. Moving on, I'm talking about regular and comprehensive audits. You see, data security can never be complete without going through regular audits, because a regular audit is just like your practical approach to be able to enable your business or to enable you as an individual to identify vulnerabilities if there are any. So if there's any vulnerability in your existing security plan, if you do a regular audit, you're able to identify those vulnerabilities. So what you got from your audited data, you're now able to now use it to understand how the security is working, and you're able to now prevent your system or your security from future attacks or future breaches, if I may put it that way. So it's very, very important to create a more powerful security strategy. So we all need to put this at the back of our mind as individuals and organizations, to perform a regular and comprehensive audit in order to be able to now enhance our compliance policies and also to get rid of potential threats. Moving on, data access limitation. Most people do not know how to limit data access. People don't know how to limit data access, in the sense that you give access to certain people, and probably by virtue of mistake or something, you give a read and write access to that person. Once the person views it, maybe or maybe not, someone would have tampered with it, and you're not able to track it because you did not give the person the needed access. So you need to be able to know, talking about access limitation, you need to be able to know who and why. Who, in the sense that who needs to have access to such this particular data set, who needs it, who should have access to it, and why, in the sense that why should this particular, when you identify who, then you have to identify why the person should have access to that particular data sets. And that way you're able to now prevent data hacking, data loss, or data theft. So organization needs to be able to limit the data access. They need to be able to determine the kind of data that a particular staff needs or an individual needs to carry out their obligations effectively, and make sure that you safeguard sensitive information. So limiting access can ensure a more effective data protection. Moving on to stale information elimination and secure backup. You know, bodies like the healthcare sector, the education sector, financial sector, they handle a whole lot of sensitive data, which are very, very important part of their businesses. So having the right data disposal, you need to have the right data disposal strategy in place, so that you don't have redundant data being stashed somewhere in your file, and that way you have to now start thinking of lifting it later on. So it's important to have a regular backup, because that is the fundamental of any security strategy. So you need to have robust backup in place to ensure that if anything happens accidentally, then you have or in the case of a ransomware lockdown. So ransomware has to do with a situation whereby hackers have access to your file, then they demand for a certain amount of money to be able to release that file. And if those data sets are important to your organization, you'd have to pay the ransom, because you don't have a choice, because you need to have access to those data to be able to use them. So we need to be able to identify the information that are stale or data sets that are stale, and we're able to now do a whole lot of backups so that you know that you have access at every point in time. So you have to be able to store your backup data in a safe and remote location far from your main points of business. So the last thing I'll talk about is the pre-planned data security policy. You know, when we're looking at operations that we need to mitigate to tackle cyber attack, it is important that we have a list of security measures, because each individual or enterprise needs to have their own security measures that they put in place, and they also need to have data security policies, because this helps us as organizations or individuals to mitigate against critical situations. It also helps you to increase the time to incident response, because when there's any response, you already have a data security policy in place that you can use to. So through these policies, you can immediately react in order to prevent extreme impact of cyber attack. So employees need to know that, okay, these are the security policies. It's important that everybody knows the security policy. For example, setting strong password for and different password for each individual, making the password stronger when necessary, enabling multi-factor authentication and all of that. So all of this, when all of these are used, it makes it very hard for individuals or organizations to be hacked, and it makes their security more efficient. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, Oyindamola. I really appreciate your time and this expositing. I got some feedbacks that you were rather in a hurry. You were speaking too fast. So I apologize, please. I am hastening them because of our time. I don't want us to exceed our time, and I apologize for that. So please, some people are asking questions around the timing, around this, having the slides available, having the recordings available. I can assure you, yes, you would have all that. I don't want to go into the question and answer session right now, just to calm your nerves. All right, I have some exciting questions here, but they will all be attended to, and we're almost coming to that session. Right now, we're going to be we're going to be having our practical session again on building a simple chatbot. We'll have Amina speak to us about the chatbot, how we can do it, the importance of this automation before we go to the lab for the hands-on. So please, I implore us to pay attention at this time. I also want to remind us again that we have some freebies we are giving away. We have enrollment into data science courses, both physical and online arrangements. We have free consultation with any speaker of your choice. We have free and subsidized setup for enterprise softwares. You're a startup there, and then you require some tools you need to start up. And we have that space for you for being in attendance of this conference. We also have some 30% discounts on trainings from the learning space, and it's valid for 1 year. So for the attendees of this conference, yes, you have CISA. You know about the certified systems auditor and certified systems security auditor and security manager. These are top-notch IT courses, IT certifications that is highly demanded up there, even on the managerial level. So these are coming to you. The trainings are full. The sponsorship for the training is 100% free, and then, but that excludes the exam fee. So you stand a good chance also for job recommendations, because like I earlier informed you during our opening remarks, a director from Transform Africa, our supporters, will be coming on board to elaborate more on these spaces. But so for us to win some of those things, remember I told us it's dependent on our active participation. So you participate in the pools, then you participate in the surveys, you participate in a variety of the activities we are doing, and you're attentive, you could be the lucky winner. Then for the survey, participating in the survey automatically gives you 2 ebooks on data science, ebook data science, automatic ebook. So that's another plus for your time for today, apart from the knowledge that you're gathering. So if you look through the Q&A session, I had sent in the chat session, I have sent in the script we're going to be using for building of this chatbot. I've also sent in our social media handles, Instagram, the LinkedIn, the Facebook, and the Telegram. Please, I implore us to join the communities, as most of the questions you're asking here will be answered there at the community level. Thank you so much once again for your time. While I leave the space now to Amina to take charge. Amina, over to you. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Good day. Amina Murdialfai, and I'll be taking us through building a very simple chatbot using Python programming language. Moving on. Okay, so before building the chatbots, we need to understand what chatbots are and how they came about. So a chatbot is an intelligent computer program that simulates human conversations. If you take a look at the image on the left, just by the text, you notice that one way or the other we would have communicated with chatbots along the way without even realizing that you're talking to one. So they are built in such a way that they emulate human conversations, and they are capable of communicating and performing actions very similar to humans. So they could either be in text form, just as seen on the image, or in voices like your Google Assistant or Siri and Alexa. Moving on. So let's take a look at a very brief history on how chatbots came about. So taking a look at the image, the world first chatbot was built in around 1966, although at that time the word chatbot wasn't used. It was rather called an intelligent system after the Alan Turing test that was conducted in the 1950s. So the word chatbot was not used. The word chatbot was first used in 1994. And then the first recognized chatbot was the chatbot developed after 1994, which is 91 built at 1995, which can be seen there. Though this first recognized chatbot called Alexa, came up after the one built in 1966, which is called Eliza. So Eliza was built in such a way that it was hard-coded, and it was only used to recognize keywords and phrases from input to reproduce a response, just as what we'll see in the practical section later. So it was built based on pre-programmed responses like intents and entities. So after 1995, we've had other several intelligent bots that came up. So we've had the Google, Siri, Alexa, Cortana, etc. And you'll find them being incorporated in websites as FAQs, as customer service bots on websites where you think that, I think Jumia even uses it. Jumia uses it too as their customer agent, and you actually think that you're communicating with a human being. So if you're trying to order food from Jumia Food, you notice that a response comes in and asks, hi. It's also using also other websites. So you think you're communicating with a human, but whereas it's a bot behind the scene. Moving on. So why have chatbots become so important during these recent times? So let's take a look at that. Moving on. So chatbots application, as I said before, they streamline interactions between people and services. They improve customer service. So this year, you notice a whole lot of businesses had to go online, and businesses had to find a way to be able to interact with their pre-existing customers, as well as find a way to also acquire new customers. So this is how chatbots became so important, especially this year, post-COVID-19 and all. So they've offered companies new opportunities to improve customer engagement process, just like the Jumia Food Services I mentioned earlier. And they've also improved operational efficiency by reducing the typical cost of customer service. So businesses no more need to employ customer service agents, as they can rather include a bot in their website and improve customer engagement processes. And they also used to bridge the gap between business owners and customers, because the bot is constantly working. So not like a human that has on and off time. The bot is constantly working on the website, so there's always that constant customer engagement at any point in time. So one way or the other, we must have come across it. So chatbots have become such an important tool in recent times. Moving on. Okay, so we'll move on to the practical section now. Thank you. Okay, so over here, I have a simple script that shows how to build a very simple bot in Python. So as Vivian mentioned earlier, the link to the script has been sent on the chat section, so you can access it from there. I'll just walk you through how the code works, and if you have the script, if you have the script with you already, you can work along with me. So the first thing I want to do is import the random module. So what does the random module do? It's just a very simple Python module that randomizes, sorry about that, it kinds of generates random responses. So obviously, if you are trying to build a chatbot that emulates how humans talk, we don't always respond to conversations in the same way. Like if someone says hello to me, I might not want to always say hello. I might want to say hi, depending on whoever I'm talking with, or good morning, or perhaps in a language, in a native language or something. So this is why I imported the random. This is why we're using the random module here, because it will be used to generate random responses. So then the next step I want to do is create and store greetings. So this is similar to how Elixir was built, actually hard-coded, programmed responses. So the greetings, as I said, you might want to include other greetings here. This is just a very simple way of creating the chatbot. So I generated and stored some very familiar greetings were used to, and stored them in a Python list, like hola, I'm Annie, hello, I'm Annie, hi, hey, hello, what's up? So it's able to generate random responses from these greetings. And then the responses are where, okay, the bot asks the user, how are you? Like, what is on this line 17 here? These responses will be generated in such a way that if the input by the user does not correspond with what is here, the bot will automatically recognize, okay, maybe the user is not doing fine. Maybe the user is not happy. And then we want to inquire, which is what this line of is doing here, inquire what is wrong with the user. So it's also very similar to how FAQs work. It's also very similar to how FAQs work too. So the next thing I want to do, we all love personalized communications. Like we all find there's this emotional attachment when I'm talking to you and I'm calling your name. There's this emotional attachment. It shows that I'm directly talking to, I'm very engaged in the conversation we're talking to, and there's no distraction in between. There's this link and there's this very strong bond when there's a personalized communication. So over here, we're creating a personalized communication between the bot and the user. So the bot asks for the user's name and then initiates a response here for the user by creating a random response from these greetings and then including the user's name. So if I run the bot later on, you see how that works. So any name that is being imputed by the user over here from line 12 will be called in line 14, and it will be personalized. So when the user enters a name, oh, Amina, the bot will, oh, hi Amina, nice to meet you. So that's what's going on in line 14 here. So the next thing is the bot wants to know how the user is doing. So, like I said, ideally, what is the first thing you want to do when you meet someone? You want to know how the person is doing. A general conversation, hi Amina, how are you? That's how a conversation goes. So that's why this line of code is going here. After the bot has found out what the user's name is, the next thing is the bot wants to know how the user is doing. Like I said, the responses that were stored earlier over here is just a general feeling of that user is doing okay. So if whatever response the user imputes does not correspond in these third responses, in this feeling, we'll see how that works when I run the code. The bot will automatically recognize that you feel and then maybe feelings like sad. Okay, so I'll particularize that in a while. The next thing is, like I said, a very simple conversation. The bot wants to know or how old the user is. So if, for example, the bot was trained in such a way that it wants to be able to send out content to particular age groups, it doesn't want to be sending adults-like content to teenagers. So that's the reason for this second conversation here. The bot wants to know what age group the user falls into, so that there are some decision making going on here. So if the user's age is greater or equals to 18 and then less than 24, the bot recognizes that this person is a young adult. Otherwise, which is early, the bot recognizes, oh, this person must be in the late 20s and approaching 40s. Otherwise, the bot recognizes if it's greater than 44, the bot recognizes, okay, I'm talking to an elderly person. And then if the age is not in any of these rules here, it automatically recognizes that, okay, that person is below 18, meaning that person is a teenager. Okay, so that's what is going on here. The next line is asking where the user comes from. So again, there is a structure being created here, a tuple with all the 7 continents in the world: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North and South America. So the bot wants to know which of these continents the user comes from. So it inquires, hey, what continent are you from? And then, so what this dot capitalize is doing here is we are humans. We tend to, let's say, for example, notice that when I created this word structure, I made all of them in sentence case, but then when we're putting in lower or upper case, so this does capitalize is to escape that error, because Python is case sensitive. So if the user is in a way typing Africa in small letters, the bot will still recognize that what the person is trying to say is Africa, since Python is a case sensitive language. So that's what this dot capitalize is doing here. So I'll particularize that very soon. So again, some decisions were created here to find out, okay, if the person is from Africa, oh cool, Africa has a lot of richness for culture and nature parks, and then points I would like to visit that. So just how a typical conversation would go on with a human. So finally, the last conversation is where the bot just throws in a very simple year inquiry. Okay, we're in 2020, the year of the global pandemic. We all know that it's the year of the global pandemic. And then the bot throws in a safety measure. Do stay safe at all times, and tries to throw some compliments to the user as well. Everybody likes compliments, right? So the final one is where the bot says goodbye. Again, a personalized goodbye message. Goodbye, the user's name, and then you have quite an interesting personality. Like I said, just a compliment to kind of appease the user. So let's run the script and see how it works. So I'll just hi, welcome, what is your name? And then I type Amina. Good day, Amina, nice to meet you. So you notice it that random response from what was stored earlier. Good day. If I run it again, a different response. How are you, Amina? So let me okay. How are you today? I'm like, good. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. How old are you? Let's say I put in, let's say 30. You see, whoa, we are all grown up from that decision that was created earlier, where it said if the age range is between 25 and 45, this should be the response. So that's what's going on here. What continent are you from? Africa. See, I've heard a lot about Africa and its richness. So it's almost like I'm talking to a human. I'm not very good at this. What year is it? In 2020. You're very smart. It's the year of the global pandemic. Do stay safe at all. Again, if look at this last message. a personalized greeting, a personalized goodbye message. So let me run that again. So you see how the random stuff occurs. Notice how the response is different. See, no more good days. Now, hey, Amina, nice to meet you. Let's say I put in a different, let's say 18 this time, or let's say 17. Okay, oh, sorry. Let me, I should have put in my, how I'm feeling there. Okay, let's run that again. Okay, good. Okay, Amina. So another response will come up. Hi, Amina. No more hey. How are you doing? Let's say sad. See? Oh dear, why do you feel sad? It's more. I'm so glad to hear that, because now the response has changed. So this block is what's working here, because sad is not what is stored in as a happy response by the bot. So it wants to know, why is the user sad? So if I say let's say because I'm hungry or something. Okay, I absolutely understand. It's okay to feel that way sometimes. And then my age, I'm 17. It feels so nice to be a teenager. So it's working with the rules that I've coded it with, but it's almost like if I weren't told that this is a bot, I'll probably think that I'm talking to a human, because it simulates how we humans do converse with each other. Let's say I put in Asia this time. See, nice. Asia's have it's no more Africa. It's now talking about Asia. Okay, let's say I put in 2019. No more 2020. No more talking about the year of the pandemics. And then it closes it with a greeting, with a personalized greeting message. So this is how to build a very, very simple chatbot in Python. You can tune it and tweak it as you like. You have the into the script. You can change the responses. You can put in whatever you like and explore on how to change the responses of the bots. I hope you had a nice time listening to me. Thank you.
Oh, great. Great. Did we copy that? I hope we followed through to this. Thank you so very much, Amina. This I really appreciate this hands-on. I was carried away. I was trying to practicalize mine as well. However, I was caught up here. I hope in the community group I'll be able to do this one-on-one and at my leisure, at my convenience. So thank you everyone for staying tuned. Some people are asking for the channels again. We'll be sending the channels again for us to connect. Some of the things will be attended to in the community, at the community level. All right, so we're going on to the next one, the next session right now. We are still holding on Judy to join in. The time difference, Judy is at Pacific time, and then there at about the time there now should be like 3 a.m. So for some reasons, she's not picking up her calls, but we were with her yesterday and she didn't tell us she was going to join in. She probably have missed out on the time difference, and we sincerely apologize for that. Let's continue with our sessions while we look out for her as well. Once she hops in, then she will come and have a session. Thank you, everyone. So we invite Nelly. Nelly is a director from Transform Africa that we mentioned to you earlier. She's going to be putting us as women in the forefront of the data age. She will also be telling us about some of the freebies and the training opportunities and the career opportunities we have from Transform Africa. So please, let's stay tuned and remember to note down your questions. They will all be attended to. Thank you so very much for your time. For those complaining that they are not able to access the question and answer session, it could be because you're connecting from your phone. Phone connection has limited features that you can have available to you for your use. However, during the question and answer session, you could just raise your hand. You will see the e-raising of hand, the electronic raising of hand symbol. You just click on it, then you will be given the privilege to unmute yourself and ask your question. But that will be during the Q&A session. Now we'll move to listen to Nelly speak to us. Thank you once again for your time, and do stay tuned.
Thank you very much to our MC. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be on the Women in Data Science virtual stage today. My name is Hohontle Nelly Aliyu. I am from Botswana in Southern Africa, but currently living and working in Nigeria. I am the co-founder and creative director at a tech company called Transform Africa. I'm so delighted to be on a platform like this that aims to educate, empower, and support women. I believe when women have the right support, they are able to reach newer heights. Thank you very much to Women in Data Science and to all the presenters before me. We have had a power-packed conference today, and I hope we all leave invigorated and inspired to step into the world of technology and delve into much-needed specialties in the field like data science. Now, I want to tell you about Transform Africa. We are a technology company founded on the principles of giving back to Africa. We are passionate about equipping the people of Africa with technical skills, especially young people. Now, here you see our core objectives. We have 4 of them. Firstly, we have capacity building, followed by mentoring, then building infrastructure, then lastly, but definitely not least, giving back significantly. Now, under capacity building, we offer the best and highly sought after ICT skills in terms of training, knowledge transfer, and certification. And this takes place throughout Africa. To do this, we have a company called Learning Space, which delivers on this mandate. We also have businesses that we are mentoring, startups, and we also just give all these businesses a platform where they can be an ecosystem for each other. Some of the companies that we are mentoring include LitUp, Virtual Informatics, and EcoSold. I will touch a bit on them later on. Now, when we're talking about building infrastructure, we are referring to world-class IT infrastructure, the likes of cloud platforms. Now, to our 4th core objective, which is giving back significantly. We intend to give a significant amount of our profits, our skills, and our knowledge to our communities. This is very important to us. And we do this in various ways, like supporting businesses and associations, upskilling the disadvantaged members of our society, and spreading knowledge about technology. Now, I would like to share some statistics about women in tech globally. According to the World Bank, 40% of the global workforce are women. Only 17% of ICT specialists are women. There is a 19% pay gap between women and men in tech. 34% of STEM graduates are women. Only 16% of women have a tech career suggested to them. This can be while they're growing up, this could be through the education system. And subsequently, this leads to only a 3% mile in women in tech careers as their first options. Now, moving on, you can see that even with some of the big tech companies in the world, women are still not faring good in terms of employment. You will see Amazon, for example, there's a 63% of male, which dominate the company. The same goes for companies that are huge in tech, like Apple, eBay. So you see all of these companies that are dominated by male workforce. Now, moving on to this statistics that informs us about emerging roles, right? Emerging roles that we have seen between 2018 and 2022, or we'll begin to see until 2022. We see that we'll start to see, or we have started to see emerging careers in data analysts and scientists, AI and machine learning specialists, general and operations managers, software and applications developers and analysts, sales and marketing professionals. Now, just looking at this top 10 list, you will see that they're dominated by tech. So what this tells us is that the top 10 careers to focus on in the next few years are going to be tech related. So it's very important that you continue to equip your organization, your workforce, especially women, with tech skills to ensure that they are empowered and they are players also in this field. Now I'll look at emerging job roles in sub-Saharan Africa. There's not much of a difference, but you will see again, the emphasis comes back to ICT or tech-driven careers. You will see there data analysts and data scientists once more are on the list, right? Electrotechnology also on the list. So this informs us that even here in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, we need to delve deep into the to empowering our workforce with ICT skills, and it needs to start at grassroots, right? Women need to know from a young age that they are empowered and they are capable of having fruitful and successful careers in technology. Now, looking here at the workforce trends and strategies for the fourth industrial revolution, you can see that between 2018 and 2022, there will be changes in the job landscape. Now, just having a look at these diagrams before us, you will see that in 2018, the stable jobs, so we're taking 48%, newer roles, which I've just looked at, were taking 16%, while redundant roles were 31%. Now, moving on to 2022, we see a shift now. The stable roles are still stable, but the new roles, including your data scientist, your data analyst, that sector is grown. It has grown more than 10%, right? That's what we anticipate. The redundant roles, on the other hand, are reducing up to about 10%. So that informs us where we need to be moving in terms of career, in terms of businesses. We need to move to tech-driven businesses. We need to move to equipping our people with tech skills so that when it comes to that 2022 or it comes to whatever period in future, we make sure that we are equipped and we are skilled to take on the new job roles. Now, those stable and redundant and new roles that I'm talking about, you can see them here listed. Your stable jobs are the jobs that we know will always need your managing directors and chief executives, general and operations managers. But the new roles, for example, you can see it's your data analyst, your data scientist, AI and machine learning specialist, big data specialist. So really, this is where we need to move. We see that the redundant roles include a lot of manual jobs or manual roles and jobs that are generally not driven by ICT. So this gives us an idea of where we need to be going in future. Now, I want to move on to why we need to have more women in tech. From the statistics that I've just shared, it is very clear and evident that we need more women in technology. Firstly, women strengthen the nation's economy and your company's performance, right? If you have women at the helm, it means that your company can do better and ultimately your stock market performance can also go up. Secondly, women think differently, right? When you have diversity, you are able to generate more revenue, smarter and better results. Women have the purchasing power, right? They are the ones who do most purchasing, right? And women also, if you put more women in tech, it will enable us to close the wage gap, which I just mentioned the statistics. We also need more role models and more women in tech to increase aspirations to a tech career and a presence of female mentors. This is very important. We need role models in this field. Last but not least, having representation also means we are able to have technology solutions that address women being created by women. Because, I mean, no one else understands us better than us, right? We are moving from a period where men are designing applications that women use. We need women to be behind the creation of such technologies because we understand our needs. Now, there are various things that we can do to improve the presence of women in tech. We can improve education. We can champion more role models, like I've said. We need to change negative stereotypes about careers in tech. This is very important, right? We need to also strengthen networking and mentoring opportunities. Now, what are we doing in Transform Africa? What we are doing is ensuring that women are represented. Firstly, we aim to have more than 50% of our workforce as women, and this includes both technical and leadership positions. In fact, at Transform Africa, we ensure all our women are able to pitch, train, deploy all our solutions, right? Whenever there is an opportunity to support female businesses and associations, we bring ourselves 100% in. It is also important that we continue to offer networking and mentoring opportunities for women who are in tech or want to get in tech. Now, coming into opportunities in Transform Africa, I want to inform all the women joining us today who are in tech businesses or interested in a tech career that we are open to mentoring them. When it comes to job opportunities, by April 2021, our hiring resumes, and we are hiring more women is always our focus. So definitely, we are making sure that women are positioned to take up as much roles as possible when we open up our hiring period. Now, coming to these discounted trainings for associations like WIT. We have a special offer for you today, right? Our MC has already mentioned it, but please pay attention to what I'm about to say. Transform Africa, through the learning space, which is our capacity building arm, is going to offer 30% discount on trainings from the learning space, right? Valid for 1 year for all attendees of this conference. So any course that the learning space offers, if you are interested in it within the next 1 year, you are going to receive a 30% discount on those trainings. We will also be offering full scholarships and sponsorships on trainings on CISA, which is the Certified Information Systems Auditor, and CISM, Certified Information Security Manager, and last, VMware Certified Associate, Digital Business Transformation. Now, these are trainings that are very hot in the market, right? Top executives are taking them, especially looking at CISA and CISM. So we are offering 100% discount for all women attending this conference to train on those 2 courses. But we are also including the VMware VCA DBT, which is the Digital Business Transformation. Now, just to go back into what the learning space is doing. We do capacity building, we offer master classes, we do e-learning, right? So meaning even now, if you want to take any of our trainings, if you are anywhere in Nigeria or anywhere in Africa, anywhere in the world, basically, we are able to do those trainings and certifications. We offer labs, testing centers, and also have a media center. Now, courses on offer, like I said, we offer highly sought after ICT training and certifications. Now, these go through a variety of categories, including security, cloud, programming, DevSecOps, routing and switching. So all the top qualifications that you know, whether it's Cisco, whether it's VMware, whether it's CISA or CISM, we offer them. Now, I just want to let you know that these courses that I was talking about, CISA, CISM, and VCA DBT, these are upcoming trainings that we are starting in October, right? So the seat is hot right now. This is your opportunity to get this training. Remember, you are getting them free by virtue of attending this conference. It's very important, and we'll also be pardon me, will be giving a 30% discount on these courses, right? Now, going back again to more opportunities that you can get from Transform Africa, we have services offered by Virtual Formatics here. Now, Virtual Formatics is an ICT engineering company, right? That does all the below, including consultancy and assessments, cloud solution, learning management system, end user computing. You can see all of them here. Now, it is very important that you have a look at all these services offered here, because like I said, when we are opening up our hiring period in 2021, these are some of the areas that you'll be able to get into in terms of your career. If you want to go into a business that also delves in ICT, we are willing to mentor you. Now, the other company that I wanted to mention here is LitUp. Through LitUp, we do application development. We have a platform where you can build various applications, right? And this is really focused on solving social and economic issues here in Nigeria and throughout Africa. We really want to serve markets that are underserved in terms of implementing ICT. So some of the applications that we are looking at is artisans, farmers, your plumbers, carpooling. So there's various groups that we are looking at. Now, going back to that discount that I was talking about, some people will be fortunate enough to receive 100% discount on the courses that we are offering, right? So you will be informed by the end of this conference if you are the lucky person. I hope you've been interacting in all the polls and also interact on the survey, which will come at the end. So thank you very much for participating in this event today. We look forward to engaging women on this platform and doing our best to assist their growth. It is very important for us at Transform Africa to ensure that we continue to enable transformative change in Africa. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so very much, Nelly, for your time. Thank you, Transform Africa, for honoring our invite. Now, participants, we can see the opportunities that we have ahead. We can still throw in more questions. We've been noting out all the questions, and we are gradually getting to the question and answer session. But before then, please, let's take this few minutes pool while I try to check on Judy again to see if she's up and can connect immediately. But not to worry, if she doesn't, her slide, which she sent in to us when we connected with her yesterday, would also be sent alongside the rest of the slides that were presented today, right? So during our community forums, I have resent the community handles again. When you connect in and you have further questions for women in data science, she would answer them in that community, okay? So not to worry at all. So let's move on to the pool right now. Thank you. Yes, we are gradually coming here. Some people are asking what about the previous hands-on on RStudio? I apologize. There is an ongoing training on robotics for Born Vita for youths. It's a boot camp, and Chioma is directly involved. So she had to dash off immediately because that's a commitment that has been on for months now. And she has assured us that when in our community, we're going to be having another session with her where the full demonstration would happen, right? So we are all covered. And again, we apologize for that break in transmission. So right now we are moving on to the question and answer session. So I hope the panelists are ready and available, because when the questions come, I'll direct it to who should answer the question. I mean, the best person to answer it, or the best office. And then if any other person has a contribution to make, fine, they can now make their contributions. So please, you can still keep rolling in your questions while I begin. So I start with the first question. Yes, some people are asking some questions about the slides. I already told us that the slides will be made available to us, right? The slides will be sent to us after now to our various emails. Some people are asking for volunteer communities to join to start their data science journey. And I assure you that we will deal with this in the community group. We will direct you to the best communities to join, to the best volunteer communities to join. Some are saying, how do I begin my data science journey? Yes, one of the speakers will have to address that here as well. However, if you're not sufficiently attended to, if you don't feel satisfied with the responses you would get, not to worry. At the community level, yes, we will do justice to that as well. So the first question is, what is the relationship between data science and data mining? Someone had asked this question, what's the difference between data science and data mining? And sorry, Mojisola, do we still have you here? Could you help us attend to this question? And please, other panelists, you can use over the question if you have contributions to make after Moji has spoken, you can also chip in. Thank you. Moji, please, over to you. What is the relationship? Okay.
The relationship between data science and data mining. I'm just going to say this one word. Data science is a field of knowledge. So it's an interdisciplinary field. And being a field rather means that it is related to one or more branches of knowledge, right? It's a field that focuses on the use of scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and so much to extract insights and knowledge. Data science is a broad field. It's not, it's more like, how do I explain it? It's more like a home. You're having a home. Now, when you have a home, definitely in that home, you have different components, which are maybe your sofas, so many things that make up that home. And that is what those elements or those things that make up your home. One of it is data mining. So let me just put it in this context. Now, in data science, there is a process you need to follow to extract knowledge to insights. One of these is data mining. That's one of the process of data science, or to achieve what you want to achieve when it comes to insight extraction, is data mining. Another word for data mining, which I popularly use for people on my platform, which is also known, is knowledge data discovery. It's an activity or a process that helps you to discover patterns. So while data science is an interdisciplinary field that actually covers so many things that make it what it is as a body of knowledge, data mining is more like an activity or a process in that field that helps you to achieve or to discover patterns and to unearth insights. Data mining is not a field of study. Please, let's take note of that. It's one process used in data science to unearth, or by data scientists to unearth insights. I hope that my explanation is clear.
Wow, thank you so much, Mojisola. I believe the person that asked this question has taken note. If you feel it's not sufficiently addressed, please look out for us on the community group so that we will bring Mojisola again to help us attend to that sufficiently to your satisfaction. Thank you so much, Moji, for your time and for that explanation. Please, we have a second question here. Can programming language R be used to analyze data for the purpose of finding anomalies? Can programming language R be used to analyze data for purpose of finding anomalies? Our R champion is unavoidably absent. So I don't know who can handle this. Moji, you have proficiency, high proficiency, because I know about you very well in our model. Can you also help us with this one? Please, other panelists, I still implore us to step in after Moji to throw more light, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vivian. So I'm just going to answer the question like this. I'm going to rephrase that question. As a data scientist, your focus should be solving problems and answering questions, right? Problems could range from finding anomalies or helping a business grow or doing so many things. At the end of the day, the question is you need to solve a problem. The idea of using your tool is to help you run those statistical algorithms, which you could, to help you run those statistical algorithms, which could help you to also answer that question, to solve the problem. So the focus now should not be that R is supposed to solve your problem. The focus is, okay, how am I going to use R to answer to the question that I'm trying to solve? I hope I've been able to make that clear, because a lot of people, they think that when they learn a tool, they want to learn Python, they want to learn R, that means they are studying data science. That's not data science. A tool is supposed to help you to run the algorithms and answer the question you need to answer. It's not supposed to help you understand your data. Neither is it supposed to help you to solve the problem. The tool is supposed to help you to drive solutions to solving that problems and getting the impact that you want. Yes, R can help you to solve the problem when it comes to maybe anomaly detection, but that should not be your focus. The question is, what do you want to solve? What question are you trying to answer? Then you can now use your tool where necessary, where you need to use it to solve the problem. I hope that's clear.
Thank you very much. The person that asked the question, please, I hope it's clear. And if it's not clear, feel free to come back. Feel free to ask further questions. So some people are saying they are not able. Okay. Sorry about that. Please continue. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. The person who asked if R can be used to detect anomalies. There's a package in R called Anomalize. So you can read up about that package, Anomalize. So when you read about that package, you are able to use it to detect anomaly in a particular data, maybe time series, or I don't know the nature of the data you're trying to analyze, but you can use Anomalize package in R to detect anomalies. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful contribution, Imole. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we move on. Someone is saying that the chatbot script is not downloading. Some people are having issues around the CSV file that was earlier sent. Some are having issues around the downloading of the Arrow Studio and all that. Sorry, I implore us to let's just forge ahead to close out soon. All those things will be attended to in the community group. Based on your demand, we may even have a whole week dedicated to this hands-on as you would want it. That one is one-on-one and instructor-led. That way, you're able to do it real time, and you're able to do it at your leisure, and not just leisure, but at least your convenience. 2-3 hours is not enough to do justice to all those things. I get out what it means when you feel you're not following, but this is an assurance we are giving you for this time to be created. That is what Women in Data Science movement is all about, and that's why all those panelists, you can hear their profile. We drag them all the way to be here. and they have made out this time to be here. Why would you think they will leave you stranded on the way? So just relax, you're in safe hands. We'll walk you through all that. So no cause for panic, okay? Thank you very much. So we have another question here. I want to know more about GPU Analyzer tool. GPU Analyzer tool. So I don't really know where this question is coming from. So I'm going to throw it open to all the panelists to come in at this time. So please, anything you want to tell us about the GPU Analyzer tool, you tell us. However, I feel that the person that asked this question needs to throw a little more light on what he or she actually means. But if she's not able to, any speaker, please, just any panelist can just take this up and then answer for us. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
On the GPU, actually, when you're doing analysis, when you're running analysis, right, on your system, at times the systems that we have these days, we have CPU, central processing unit. So CPU might not be able to undo some machine training and analysis that you're doing. So that's why GPU was built, for you to move. It moves the computation power from your laptop, from your laptop to the GPU. So it makes use of the GPU so that when you are running performance, when you are running trying to run elicit performance of training models at a scale, at some point you start to experience various degrees of processing lag. So it takes, sometimes when you are training your data, it could take hours. In some cases, it could take weeks longer. But with GPU, they stack up against CPU. So you need a GPU to run deep learning projects or machine learning projects. So it has a lot of computational power. So it will help you to manage that computational power so that your system does not slow down. So if you need more clarification, you can communicate with me. I will leave. We'll communicate on the community group, and I will expatiate more one-on-one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mole, for that insight. We really appreciate that. Okay, so we have another question here saying, please, what is the difference between AI and IA? What's the difference between artificial intelligence and intelligence automation? I leave this question to Tolang, RPA champion, to please handle this. Tolang, please, do we still have you online? Could you help us differentiate between AI and IA? Thank you. Hello, Tolang. Please, we are waiting for you to help us answer the difference between AI and IA. What's the difference between AI and IA, please? One of the participants are asking, and we've channeled it to you as a subject matter expert when it comes to intelligent automation and artificial intelligence. Thank you. So I think Tolang stepped out. I will come back to this question. So please, whoever asks the question, just stay mute and just stay calm. I will come back to the question when Tolang is back and available to answer it. Let's move to the next question. Someone is saying, I am very new to data science. Should I learn Python separately, or should I just go directly to Python for data science? Moji, please, can you help us with this? Thank you.
Right, thank you. My opinion, I don't know, any other person can have the additional opinion. I will say this, learn the basics. For those going into data science that have gone through my own platform, I always tell them to understand the basics. And when I say understand the basics, foundation is very key. A lot of people want to just start using those tools. But the question, and what I always say to people, before you start using a tool, you need to understand the basics of that knowledge. Understand the foundation of data, learn data strategies, understand how to frame business problem, understand business intelligence. When you understand all those parts, when you are very comfortable with data, even from the smallest units where you even use your Excel sheet and all that, then you can now start saying, okay, you know what? I want to move to the next dimension, which is advanced analytics. Advanced analytics is a combination of data science, AI, machine learning, and all that. So that is a journey. So once you are there, it's easier for you because, like I always say, you need to understand data you are working with even before you start running any algorithm, because you can have as much as 5 algorithms solving the same problem. So the question now is that which one is best fit to solve the problem that you want to do? You don't just run algorithms because you want to run it. You don't just use a tool because you need to use it. You need to understand how that tool functions by itself. So the question now is you need to start from the scratch. What is data? What is this data all about? Business intelligence to me is the scratch. When you are done with that, then you can move to the next dimension where you start working with data tools and you start applying those tools to solving problems. That is my own opinion. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that insight. I hope the person that asked this question got it. Another person is also asking another question, saying, please, where do you suggest that prospective data scientists start from? I think this has already been taken care of by this last question, right? Like Moji explained, you need to begin by knowing what data actually is. From there, you graduate to knowing how to get some insights from how to clean up this data. When you've cleaned up, you know how to explore the data, you know how to discover the data, and then you proceed to the tools you can use to do it. You can begin with advanced Excel, and then you move on to the Power BI, you move on to the R, the Python, and the likes of them. Moji already did justice to it. So, but if you need more clarification, please, let's meet at the community level so as to accommodate more questions. Okay. So we're going back to the question from Tolang, for Tolang, that the person asked, what's the difference between AI and IA? I apologize, as Tolang was already speaking, but I couldn't hear her, so I didn't know what happened, really. I apologize for that technical glitch. And then Tolang, please, could you hear me now? Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So automation, so we're going to speak about the difference between AI and automation. So automation saves time and money spent on autonomous, voluminous tasks that gives employee an opportunity to apply themselves to more complex processes. Another point on automation is that it is the automation of repetitive mundane tasks that are done by humans. And usually these are operational processes in a business, right? Like a bank, for instance, or an insurance or an auditing firm. They've got processes that every single day a human user comes in and performs a sequence or a series of tasks in a sequence, right? And that series of tasks can be automated using intelligent automation. Now, intelligent automation itself is the amalgamation of artificial intelligence and robotics process automation. So you can think of robotics process automation, which is RPA, as the automation part of automating those series of tasks. And then AI comes in to make it intelligent, meaning that it takes the data that is fed to the whole process, making it intelligent automation. Now, AI deals with technologies, it deals with systems or even processes that competently mimic how a human being makes decisions, how a human being reacts to new information, as well as understand language. So basically, you can think of artificial intelligence as a technology that mimics human decision making, right? Whereas automation just automates a series of tasks in a sequence of steps. I don't know if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, I'm more than happy to further clarify.
Thank you so much, Tolan, for that exposition. I hope the person that asked this question is clearer now. So we move on to the next question. So the next question, this person is asking, please, what are the limitations to these prospective data security trends? What are the limitations to these prospective data security trends? And I welcome Oyin Damola, who is the subject matter expert when it comes to data security, to please take this for us.
Thank you very much.
Damola,
okay, thank you, Vivian. Well, as it is with any technology, there's always challenges. So with the prospective security trends that I mentioned, I think the first thing would be human ourselves, because we don't quickly adapt to changes. When you enforce some security policies, people find it difficult adjusting to these changes. So I think we need to start from human beings ourselves. We are the major challenges to all these security trends. We are the major challenge because we find it very difficult to adapt to change what we are used to doing. So from within ourselves, we have to work on that first. And secondly, I'd like to talk about costs. Many people tend to think about the cost side of implementing data security, but they don't see the importance of implementing data security. So I would say that cost is a major hindering factor for people to implement data security. Also, I would like to talk about lack of backup option. For example, now if you enforce what we call multi-factor authentication on your devices, and let's say you put your password and you use your phone as a second layer of security, where you have to get a code to be able to log into your platform. Now, what happens if this phone is stolen? How do you go about it? So this is another challenge. And what is the backup? What backup do you have in place in case your device gets missing, or where you receive your second level of authentication, you don't have access to it? Does that mean that you will not be able to access your data where you need to have access to? So that's another challenge that we need to look into with this current trend. Also, technological gap. How do we move from what we are used to what we need to now make use of? So that's another challenge. There's a bit of technological gap between what we have been doing and what we need to do. So I think those are the major challenges that I can see with the current security trends. Thank you. I hope that helps. But if you need more insights, you can always get to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Oyin Damola. Please don't go too far, because I have another question that is centered around security as well. This person is asking, how can we bridge the gap in consistency in data using Nigeria as a case study? How can we bridge the gap in consistency?
It's 2 o'clock.
Hello, Oyin Damola, are you there? Sorry, Moji, can you help us here, please?
That question is a bit tricky. Because I was just thinking at the top of my mind, how can we bridge the gap of inconsistent data using Nigeria as a case study? So I'm wondering which scenario the person is talking about when you say Nigeria as a case study, because I know there are some people that are always talking about COVID-19 data and they will say it's inconsistent. But from the industry point of view, let's say an organization point of view, basically, when you're talking about inconsistent data, basically data starts from the point when it's being imputed. And definitely, if there are no business rules behind these data points, what happens is that a lot of people just continue to impute whatever they like. So for example, if I want to use an example, let's say name, for example, if there are no business rules around what name should look like, let's say first name or second name, people will just continue to impute whatever they like. Or for states, if you just leave it open and you don't have like a business rule saying that a state should, like Lagos should be defined as LG and is being defined as LA, you just leave it open. You see some people putting LG, some will put L, some will put Lagos. Those are what causes data inconsistencies. So from the point of view, from an enterprise point of view, you need to be able to put in some form of business rules that can help you to, solve that problem. For Nigeria, I really don't know where the question is coming from as a case study, so I can't really say much on that. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much. I'm sure the person that asked this question has got some insight, but if you're not clear, please do not hesitate to come back on any of the community channels. So please, another question, are data analysts not data scientists? Are data analysts not data scientists? This is a question from one of the participants. I know a lot of people can take care of this question, but let's follow it in sequence. Let me have Imole, please. Can you, since you gave us tips on how we can thrive in the data science space, could you please tell us about this? Is a data scientist a data analyst? Is a data scientist a data administrator? Is a data scientist a business intelligence analyst? Please, can you throw more light on this? After you, please, Moji, please, we'll have you again, seeing that your data yourself and seeing the way you transition from non-science background. I know you would have insights around it. Imole, please, as a subject matter expert, can you help us with this? Are data analysts data scientists? Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
We can hear
you. Okay. So like Mojisola said earlier on that data science is a wild field, is a broad field on its own. So, and which also a lot of people confuse these terms together. So data science and data analytics are unique fields, right? So but on a broader case, data science is more broad, which means in as a data scientist, you need analytical skills, right? So as a data scientist, you are also a data analyst. So, but as a data analyst, you still have a long, I won't say a long journey to being a data scientist, right? So as a data analyst, you are able to analyze data, visualize data, interpret, gain insight from data, yes. But as a data scientist, you are able to do much more like do what a data analyst can do, and also be able to deploy solutions like build recommendation systems with the use of data and so much more. So a data scientist is a broader scope, right? But as a data analyst, you're not a data scientist yet until you're able to migrate from being a data analyst to a data scientist. But as a data scientist, you must have passed through being a data analytics person. So you must be able to have a data, you must have had data analytical experience, and to be able to then the higher level for you as a data scientist is to being able to model data and deploy your models into recommendation systems and some other automations. So I hope that's enough. So if you have any more questions, you can link up with me on the community page.
Thank you so much, Imole. Moji, do we have any contributions from you on this? Like as we've already
I think Imole has said everything, just like what I said earlier also. A lot of people go straight into data science, and that's what I was saying when I was answering that question. Where should you start from? You should start as an analyst, and being a data analyst basically does not mean that you are also a business intelligence analyst. Some people just know how to crunch data. They don't know how to make sense of data. So you need to learn that space. When you are now done, then you move to the next level, which is when you start applying some form of algorithms, and like she said, deploying same into production and for different projects basically. So data science gives you the opportunity to start making predictions, running your algorithms, and doing some form of additional AI capabilities that on a normal day a data analyst will not want to bother his or herself with. So that's just it. It's the next level after analytics.
Thank you so much, Moji. Friends, we are having a lot of questions still rolling in here, really rolling in. I implore us to join the community group. For those having issues around getting access to the community groups, some are asking questions around mentorship. A lot of questions are coming around mentorship. A lot of questions are coming around having certifications in data science. A lot of questions are coming around transitioning from their various fields. You can see that we have two speakers who were not even science background inclined, and they're already data scientists, and not just data scientists, top-notch ones in industry and renowned organizations and firms. So you too can go there. One of us is connecting from the medical line and asking, how can I apply data science in the medical line? Perfect. You are all covered, and that's why Women in Data Science movement is existing. So please, let's hook up at the community group. For all the details, for all the materials that we used in this conference, the RStudio, the data sets from the cancer, the Python script, we will send them all to your email addresses, right? Then, if you have further questions and the questions that we couldn't crunch here, please, let's meet at the community group. The community handles will also be sent to your emails, the ones you used to register for this event. And then we would take it over from there. I want to end the question and answer session here because we do not have a lot of time on our space again. I will speak to Judy to skip her session as well because of our time, but her slides will be sent to you, and any questions you have around her slide, we can answer it in the community, okay? I sincerely apologize for this. And next, we move on to the closing remarks. So please, can we have Imole come on board to give us the closing remarks before the vote of thanks? Thanks, everyone. Imole, please, can we have you give us the closing remarks? Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
hello,
please close
everyone.
it.
I just want to say thank you for taking out time to honor our invitation to Women in Data Science Conference 2020. Without you, this would have not been a success. So we appreciate your taking your time out to join us for this wonderful conference. And like we said earlier on, this is not the end of it. So we intend to build up a community of women in data science where we are able to provide for ourselves mentorship, which is a very, very important factor in this journey of data science. And I hope each and every one of us has learned one or two things today, and it's still going to be a continuous learning curve for everyone. So we look forward to meeting you all in our community channels and getting to know more and being able to share more and so that it's going to be amazing if we have 1 million women in data science in 2021. So, and that is one of our goal for doing this. We want to get as many people as possible who are women involved in this, so that we can provide more solutions, more advancement in our communities and in our country, in our world at large. Yeah. So do have a great day. We appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Okay, next is our vote of thanks, but please, before that, I want to remind us of our freebies. We are not able to get the statistics right now. We're not able to do the final collation to know who qualifies for the freebies, right? So for who is the winner, I mean to say. So please watch out your emails after we've sent you the emails documenting and sending all the details of the conference, the recordings and everything and all whatnot. We will still send to the winners, so they can receive, have their offers, right? So the survey session that will be coming after the vote of thanks, don't forget to fill out. As you fill out, you get your 2 ebooks on data science straight up. And again, I want to reiterate about the trainings. The trainings, remember, is for a whole year. 30% discount on trainings from the learning space, valid for 1 year. The VMware and the Cisco CCNA full sponsorship training, but excluding exam fees for all the participants. The CISA full sponsorship to train and excluding exam fees. And the CISM, that's the security manager. The security manager also full sponsorship training, but excluding the examination fees. So let's cash into this. For all those asking for certifications and all that, you might need these trainings to have your certifications, and then you proceed on your career journey. Yeah, questions around data science trainings and all that, we will meet at the community and we'll guide you properly. Thank you so very much once again for your time. As we welcome Omotayo, one of the WITS ambassadors for Lagos, Nigeria region, to now give us the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, wherever you are. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for staying tuned from the beginning to the end. We so much appreciate your presence, and we assure you, according to what my colleague Vivian has just said now, that every of the freebies will get to each and every one that qualifies, and we are waiting your arrival at the community where we can undo most of the questions that you have asked. So I thank every one of you, and we look forward to working hand in hand in collaborating later on. Thank you, Transform Africa. Yes, I have to mention them. They have been so much they've been so much they've been so much good, or how do I put that grammar? They've been so much functional to this conference, and we so much appreciate their support. You can go to their Facebook platforms, you can go to their Twitter platforms, you can link up with them on LinkedIn and find so much information about them. They are great people to partner with in doing so many things, and most of the freebies, some of the things you are receiving is through them. We so much appreciate all their efforts. I give my shout out to Nelly, to Mo, to Oida, to every of the panelists. I thank you all for being so kind and for the informations that you've given to us. We are so grateful. Thank you very much, everyone.
Wow, thank you so much. That got me highly emotional right now, because to be candid, your leadership, your support, your enthusiasm is simply overwhelming. I thank you, Mojisola, for coming through for us. We missed you last year, and then you thought to be here. You fought against all odds, against all the health battles you had, just to be here. I appreciate your resilience. Tolang, despite all your commitments, I forced you out and you honored me. I appreciate you. Yes, me, I mean, honest, me is women in data science I represent. Thank you so much again. So please, the panelists, can we turn on our videos right now, our cameras right now? Can we turn on our cameras, the panelists, please? So we're closing shortly so that the survey will go out, and then you have your ebooks. Then we continue on the community platform.
Data science and any data-inspired and data-driven science is so critical right now. More and more decisions are made based on data. The amount of data that we gather every day and the insights that the data can provide us is just growing exponentially, and that is no exaggeration.
The market for data science and related areas like AI is booming.
It is so important to have women in artificial intelligence, in the area of data science, and also in leadership roles. It's being able to use data to solve issues and understand bigger problems. It's critical. And we need women in these roles. Every individual brings their own perspective, and so we need to make sure the entire workforce is represented.
And the good news is there's so many jobs and many different ways to combine their passion area and their skills in data science and get involved.
I would like you to say, what are the problems in the world that absolutely have to be changed? And can you individually, given all the amazing background that you've had so far and all the education that you've got so far, what are the unique things that you can do to change the world towards that mission? And then think of the technology.
If that is going to become completely data-driven over time, then you can't miss that opportunity. You've got to join in and have your say.
If you're not looking at the data from all sorts of different angles, then you could introduce a lot of bias. So it's really, really important that we have around the table all genders, all races, all backgrounds.
We can't ignore social and structural problems. We can't just go in a corner and write some code and read math and then that's the solution, right? We can't do that. So we have to think about who is being affected by these algorithms.
Welcome to WIN!
When we first started this conference, we never would have imagined that we'd be sitting here today with over 200 regional events. We've got over 500 WIDS ambassadors worldwide. Many of them are women, but we've also got a lot of men. And these are people who are just passionate about inspiring others within their community. We're in over 60 countries, and year after year, we're blown away.
Let's make this next decade the Women in the Data Science decade.
What I love about it is that growth is viral. That people will attend one event in one city and then they'll want to bring it to their cohort or colleagues the next year.
This type of industry can be done everywhere, so it should be accessible to everybody. And this is one of the reasons why I love that we are global with WIDS.
So we wanted to create opportunities for women to inspire, educate, and support women at many different times throughout the year. And one way that we decided we could do that was through a datathon every year, which is a predictive analytics challenge using real-world data. We have over 900 teams from 85 countries, and that's in every continent except Antarctica.
When we started WIDS in 2015, we had no idea this was going to be a global movement with tons of international events and a datathon and a podcast show and now outreach to middle school and high school. It's just been such a ride.
Our latest endeavor is to work on some materials that we can hand off to teachers in schools around the world.
This has provided a platform for literally hundreds of women, if not thousands of women, to have an opportunity to be heard.
But the truth is, these are really simple experiments, but they had profound impact because they empowered someone else to be able to do their job better or to be able to take that message.
5 years ago, when we were sitting around a coffee table thinking about what WIDS could be, I never in my wildest dreams thought it would grow so far and so wide around the world in just 5 years. What I'm most excited about is the next 5 years, because I think this is really just the start.